about the best Apex Legends
خب
all
بریم
around
برای
the world with one goal to be a champion.
فینال مسابقات
And to be a
LGS.
champion, you have to be a predator and set this stage
و
ablaze.
ببینیم توی این دوره کی قهرمان میشه بالاخره. فکر کنم داخل
More time, and that
میشینم
time
سرعت
is
مشکل
now.
داره.
Coming out first, looking to snipe the competition. Give it up for Exit.
تیما دونه وارد میشن، تیمایی که کوالیفای کردن برای LGS دونه وارد میشن. اپتیکو داریم، بلک اوندو داریم، فناتیکو داریم، اکسیژن رو داریم که اکسیژن میکرد تیمای خوب بود. الاینس دیگه خفنای کرده، چند روز زدنشین بود. انرژی و جلوشون هم اسپید رو میبینیم دیگه. این دیگه معرفی حضور همتون هست دیگه، بهتره پلیراست. TSM این پرهل رو میبینیم اومده که قهرمانی رو دوباره ببره با خنده کلا. وارد شد رایلی کوالیفای کرد، رایلی هم چند بار وین کرد. اسکیند اگر اشتباه نکنم ترجمه میشه، فکر نمی‌کردم کوالیفای کنه ولی مثل اینکه کوالیفای کرده. لایومون به نظر داره به مشکل میخوره، پس میایم اینجا چیز رو میبندیم. ران شد مشکل خورد که اینجوری نمیتونه بذار خاموش کنیم.
Getting ready to chew through the competition. Fire Beavers.
فایر بیورز هم داریم. همه تیم‌های خوب تقریبا کوالیفای کردن. البته اینکه دارم میگم همه تیم‌ها خوب کوالیفای کردن، تیمی که خوب نباشه کوالیفای نمی‌کنه. ولی دیگه خوب بودن که کوالیفای کردن دیگه.
Now the stage is set, but I need to hear this all around the world, in the chat and in the venue. Are you guys ready to go? Rain Day, let's get it going.
Well, we have been waiting for London to sound like this ever since the beginning of the week.
روز پایانی و فینال و
finals. This is split 2 playoffs in London. Can I hear you one more time, Copper Box? Can you make some noise? Oh, baby.
ببینیم کی همه اومدن یا من کم چند تاشو ندیدم. 20 تا تیم باید باشن دیگه. 20 تا تیم فکر کنم 20 تا تیم الان معرفی کرده بشه.
Listen, this is the best part of our competition. I am literally buzzing with excitement right now. We have a stacked lobby and already the competition has been insane for 3 straight days. I cannot wait to see what happens here today.
Spider Tiff, you've been casting. You're on the desk now for us with the finals. So exciting. How are you feeling going into today?
I am so ready to see what is going.
بذار بیاد از داخل یوتیوب. ده 10,000 نفر بیننده داره.
Going to happen on the stage with the players. For those of you that have joined us today, thank you so much. The energy in the Copper Box Arena is insane, and I cannot wait to see which team is going to rise to the top.
Yeah, throughout the group. One thing I want to say, huge congratulations to Dia joining us at LAN at this stage. One of my favorite things about this is, yes, it is work for these players to get here, but when you talk about just the Sunday, it's a good day's work when you talk about the prizing that's being delivered out. Let's take a look at what is on the line for today. Not just pride, not just regional pride, personal pride. It is some actual cash. $300,000 for our winner. Second place gets a cool $160,000, all the way down to 20th, getting $9,000. That is still a great day of work at the office. I know these players, though, don't want to aim for anything but first, but when you consider it, Glitter, having the ability to win this match.
میام جایزه رو می‌بینید که نفر اول $300,000 $160,000 $105,000 $65,000 تا نفر آخرم که $9,000 ببینید کی قهرمان میشه دیگه.
This is everything. You can see all the different cheering sections. You got so many members of Alliance up there. Dark Zero, Fnatic, Ascend.
تیم‌های قدرتمند معرفی میکنه. DSM, Fnatic, Alliance, Dark Zero. اینا بیشترین شانس برای قهرمانی دارن دیگه. دارک زیرو، TSM که هر دوتاشون 2 دوره قهرمان شدن. ببینیم دوباره میتونن بیان یه بار دیگه قهرمان بشن یا نه. Alliance, Dark Zero, Fnatic, اوتوسان، LG چیو. من به LG چیو هم امیدوارم. فیز فکر نمیکنم کوالیفای کنه. اوردر، اکسیت، اکسیژن، NRG، مویست.
Looking at this, I've been absolutely floored as I have through the entire competition from our competitors coming out of APAC North. I also want to give huge credit to Moist. There were a lot of doubts about how they performed on the international stage.
Glitter, amazing for APAC South. Who do you have your eyes on? It's a stacked lobby either way.
I know it's really hard to choose, but for me, I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes on LG. They've had an insane run here so far this entire weekend, and also Fnatic. We talked a lot about APAC North. They are a powerhouse. We got to see the piece about Yuka. So once again, another top team for me.
Big storylines throughout all of this has been, can North America back-to-back? Can TSM do it yet again here in the same stadium that they did it in February, coming down from the Heavens House? Today. However, EMEA has yet to win a big LAN on a stage that has been in EMEA now twice, 3 times actually if you count last year. Will they finally do it? APAC South playing better than people expected, and APAC North showing up in droves to say that we are here at the level of international competition for Apex. Who will be the winner today, though? Well, we have to focus on a few distinct storylines. I'll start with you. Who's your one to watch for today?
من امیدوارم LG چیپ بگیره. خیلی دوست دارم LG چیپ ببره. نمیدونم چرا. هیچ فیلمی من بود که LG چیپ میبره. حالا ببینیم. Alliance و اکسیژن و اوتوسان اینجا داشتیم. Alliance روز دوم بود اگه اشتباه نکنم، خیلی خوب کار کرد. نقشه ها رو کشیدن بیرون و دارن پلن ها رو واسه این 6 تا گیم میچینن ببینید کی قهرمان میشه دیگه. فکر کنم کلا 6 تا گیم امروز برگزار میشه و برنده این 6 تا گیم که بیشترین پوینت رو بگیره قهرمان میشه.
Yeah, they're right behind us. They had to kind of hang out with us while we were getting ready to walk on stage. Great point. I think a lot of people assuming Alliance may take it. Dia, I want to talk to you though. Who do you have your eyes on today and why?
Going into these games, my eyes are on Gunbar Otosan. I think they've performed wonderfully, and more importantly than whether they even pick up the win or not, they're going to be a massive hinge point of the maps, dropping over on Landslide at World's Edge, contested, interestingly enough, up against Black Hand. Then when we pop over onto Stormpoint, they're going to be dropping over by the Millage, and that's contested by Riddle. Both of these are really
روز سوم بود که خیلی خوب کار کرد.
powerful. Gunbury Otosan are extraordinary. They pulled out Newcastle Watson and succeeded with it on the international stage. With that combined with how flexible their POIs are, they are going to get a lot done only if they
من فکر نمی‌کنم اوتوسان قهرمان بشه. احتمالش خیلی کمه. احتمالش خیلی کمه. کوچشون هم می‌بینید که پشتش نشسته و همه‌شون نگاه کنی استرس دارن. هم می‌بینید همه‌شون استرس دارن. همه‌شون به شرط فجیع استرس دارن.
They've evolved yet again throughout the duration of Split 2. They brought in Coach Psycho, and he has completely innovated the way that
اینا اکسیژن است. اکسیژن هم دیروز خیلی خوب داشت کار میکرد. یه مچ هم میگم TSM رو زد چمپیون کرد.
Might have a few riddles for the other teams in terms of some tricks Oxygen could play. Certainly has worked out, and I love the green and black suit, brother. Keep it up. All these teams playing at a very high level. And you mentioned Alliance. We heard the crowd chanting for Alliance. There's some fans up there, and obviously there's some very important people in the booth playing for that squad. Yuki, Hockeys, they have been phenomenal. This is their second time here, but in Split 1 playoffs, they had to play with a sub in Mandy. Popular player, streamer, we love him, but he wasn't that third. They have found him, and he has certainly had a big effect. Let's go to it.
I started watching him, and I got terrified.
یکی از مصاحبه‌هاشون با تیم الاینس و اکسنت و یه اسم تیم رو اشتباه بگیم اکسنت. آره این کچله شبیه یه فرد مهمیه آجی. کچله اصلا عباد خاصی داره. اینم هکس، یکی دیگه از اعضای الاینس که لیدرشون هم هست اگه اشتباه نکنم.
The slightest mistake, your entire team dies. It seems like all of these teams that are down low are just fodder for Alliance. It's effect. He is doing what he does best.
Aim assist. No, it's more than that. Of course, it's more than that. Like I think it's his confidence, really. I think that's it. He knows how to exploit what he has and his talent he has, and he also knows how to abuse the mechanics in the game.
Hackets on Newcastle gets the res onto effect, and now. You can see effect is moving forward. The Terminator of Alliance should close this one out. But effect has all of the armor you could want.
افکت میزنه اینجا میگه الاینس میگیره. البته اینو من ندیدم خودم چطور این کردم. اینو ندیدم.
He's well rounded. He's good at communication, clutching, firepower, entry fragging, even movement. He's controller.
The trust that Hakis has on him to do that without even like having to tell him like, hey, effect, do this or do that. Like he's just on the right place, on the right time.
It's a lot easier for me personally because I
این تیم فقط از این تیم فقط کچله رو نشون میده، یعنی کسی دیگه رو نشون نمیده دیگه.
Not having to focus too much on it now, just release my shoulders a lot.
He's a very young player and he does not have that much competitive experience.
He's a young kid and he kind of brings like fun into the team. Nothing's ever too serious.
But he's also one of the most mature players that I've ever had to deal with. He's so talented, adorable, cute, big weeb. There's nothing to not love about Effect. Like he's such a nice guy, and in game he's just like the devil himself.
He comes when he
میگم درباره افکت داره حرف میزنه که یکی از پلیر تیم الاینس و میگه که اند گیم های دونه آخر خوب بازی میکنه.
To this one hallway and just absolutely melting.
چی کار کرد حاجی؟ همه رو هدشات زد. این مچه رو میگم این مچه رو چیزشو دیده بودم و هیچ تو نکنم ریپلی. زودتر تموم کنم بریم سراغ مچ.
Players like him, they don't just turn up and not do well. I think he will perform.
He's a natural competitor and he's excited to be here, so I think he's gonna pop off.
Well, the only thing I have to say is I'm gonna one clip photo.
دارن افکت از تیم الاینس تشریح میکنن.
Certainly think, Dia, they have good reason to. Not a lot to misconstrue in his statement at the very end.
I will say I've loved Effect's mechanics. I think the thing that I love most about him after watching that video is his trash talk. That was pretty amazing. We saw him hit some tweets earlier on in the tournament as well, talking about how international play might have been a little bit easier than he expected. So I hope that the finals give him a bit of a challenge. But I want to talk on something that Hakis actually mentioned in that video, and it's Effect's ability to control the game using the abilities or mechanics in it. We saw him really exemplify this in the group stage, notably using things like Horizon and her ultimate to draw focus away from him so that he's able to deal damage without having lines of sight to him. This is one of the things that differentiates Effect from almost any other player on the stage right now, is the split-second instincts that he can use with his abilities to change how the gunplay ends up functioning.
Great job and dissecting that. We will see if he is going to one clip everyone right after this. However, I do want to make sure everyone knows that this is a big deal. We are starting a brand new award at EA. It is an award that is all about championing the power of positive play. The first ever Positive Player Award will be awarded this September. My birthday month, let's go. And we want to hear from you who should be nominated. Nominate a player who you think exudes great teamwork and positivity now at the link on your screen. All right. I know everyone is ready here, but if you're watching at home, we want to give you something a little special. You may not be in the London crowd, but you can still win something. That's right. You might not get a hoodie thrown to you, but we've got Twitch drops ready to go just for watching. And guess what? Even if you haven't caught any of the games, up until now, from Thursday on, you can get every single one of these Twitch drops by watching the R99 Troubles, again, the Race Skin, Fiery Fractals, the Hollow Spray, Radic, which is my favorite, and the Gun Charm Predator. I know that Tim, you've had your eyes on these for quite a while.
Why'd you have to comment to me after you said the Predator?
Well, because you're good.
No. I mean, like, there's a lot of masters out there today in ranked, but, you know, I'm not one of them.
Okay, well, you know.
The Diamond Trail is actually more rare.
I was going for the contrast, like the lovely sparkles on the contrast of your outfit.
I get you. Right
okay. All right, well, we're having fun on the desk, but you know what's more fun? Getting into the best Sunday in esports. That's right. I'm talking about Apex Legends Match Point Finals. I am ready to see who takes control, because if you don't win, we go again. Let's get hyped. Let's get ready to kick off our Split 2 playoff Match Point Finals.
Bring her over here. Thank you so much, Rainde. Welcome.
این گزارشگر زنه چه صدایی داره ولی آجی.
I'm Vicky Kitty. I'm joined with Gino, and today's
the
day, finals day for the ALGS Split 2 playoffs. I'm so excited after having such an insane few days of gaming. Apex Legends, I love that game so much, and our players here are looking to perform their best, do their best against every other region. These teams here, Gino, I want to say, is probably the most stacked finals lobby we've ever had in the ALGS.
Exactly what I was just about to say. The best 20 teams in the world, but maybe the best 20 teams that Apex Legends Esports has ever seen. And even with that, you know what's a little bit crazy? We actually have a couple of front runners this time, right? I think in previous finals lobbies, it feels like there's been a lot of teams who can walk away with, and certainly that's still the case, but some teams are just a cut above the rest. We're talking about Moist, TSM, Alliance. These teams have looked indomitable throughout this tournament, especially throughout that winner's bracket stage, because that, of course, is going to be the most true reflection of what we might see here on Sunday.
And being finals day means that we're going to be playing in match point format. For those of you guys that don't know what that means unlimited rounds. 50 match points dictates whether that team is going to be sitting in that match point format. Once they hit that match point eligibility, they're going to be able to have to win to secure that first place spot, that championship spot in the playoffs for today.
خب مچ اول هم داره شروع میشه توی ورزیج بعد میره استون پوینت.
It's our first 2 games on World's Edge before we swap over to Storm Point for the following 2. Then we're going to be swapping right back over to World's Edge, vice versa throughout the course of the day until we have that team that reaches that match point win a game afterwards.
6 تا برگزار میشه یا یه دونه مچ 6 تا؟ ولی فکر کنم یه دونه باشه اشتباه کنم.
And that's why some teams they could be heavy fraggers, but it's about the dub that matters at the end of the day. Let's get started everybody. Game number 1 on World's Edge.
گیم اول داخل ورزیج استارت میشه. چه ویوی از مپ ورزیج آجی.
Moment as we drop into World's Edge. Countdown gets the hot zone, and we'll keep our eye to see if we've got any of those contests. Looks like this could be the first one with Blackhand going up against Gambale Otosan.
Match کرد آجی بلکن.
Game number 1 looks like we're taking a little bit of a break for right now before we get started here.
مچ اول کرش کرد.
Does highlight though and gives away that we are going to have a 50-50 at least start off for our first game on World's Edge. This could swap over before we get into Storm Point. Depends on how the teams are feeling before we change up. Getting a look over at the crowd. By the way, it is a sold out house.
Topical shirt.
Talk about relevant though.
Look, so we've definitely got one contest
طرفدارای انرژی هستن، طرفدارای TSM، طرفدارای اکسید. البته انرژی و ایمپرال و اسپی دارن بی طرفدارشون میشن اینجا.
The Pulverex seem to be going towards Fragment East. Fire Beavers, they were hoping to have both Fragment and Monument to themselves. But it looks like they will have to split that now. Here's a look at one of our best teams so far. Moist there had an incredible day yesterday. And one of the most, there were a couple of signs from them
عملکرد خیلی خوبی داشته.
today here in Sunday, right? One of those being
قهرمان 2 دوره مسابقات رو می‌بینیم. ببینیم میتونه از عنوان قهرمانش دفاع کنه یا نه.
The things that was potentially keeping them from being a really top tier contender for the title. So if MT is online, absolutely Moist are in with a chance here today.
And that actually drives me into my second question for you, Genome. The way that this finals lobby is played, once you know, we are back to game, by the way. Just to be transparent with
everybody. فکر کنم که همون گیم درست شد و دوباره دارم پلی میدم همونو.
Because there was an issue with one of the headphones, but we are not going to waste any more time now. Gio already getting engaged with this fight and going and swinging with a beat on the 20 in the most
اوتوسان داریم که فکر کنم بلخبین بود چی بود اون تیم سخته که الان دادیم من دلشه اسمش خیلی سخت بود. بلک هند بود. اینا میگه بلک هند ولی خب اصلا اسمشو بلک هند نمیخوره باشه. میخوام پوش بدم و تموم کنم اوتوسان واقعا فکر کنم بهتر از این تیم ظاهر شده. ببینیم میتونه اوتوسان تموم کنه یا نه. هر جوری هست بخواه اوتوسان یکی رو میزنه. اوتوسان در تمومش کن. بله اوتوسان گفتم اوتوسان خیلی تیم بهتری نسبت به بلک هند. اومد و بلک هند رو تموم کرد.
You can see Blackhand there completely changing up their composition. They've been playing a lot of Wraith, Watson, but no, they have to change characters.
اوتوسان اومد و بلک هند رو تموم کرد. عجیب شده.
It feels like Geo didn't change their compositions, but you don't play Crypto and Loba generally. If you're going to that
لوبا و
yet they still come out on top. That's a
رمپارت هم برداشتن. ترکیب عجیب.
With those amp cuppa taking the high ground, well played to Geo.
You know what that also could mean here, that also means that they're very confident to be in this late game and
فکر کنم برنامه‌شون اینه که زونو اسکن کنن. آره دیگه زونو اسکن کنن. بیارن یه دونه پوزیشن هولد کنن و فقط وایسن بزنن. چون اگه نگاه کنید لوبا و رمپارت ترکیبیه که بیشتر برای هولد کردن برمیدارن تیم‌ها. روتیت هم لازم نیست بکنن، یه سریع لوتی انجام میدن بعد هر جا رو گرفتن دیگه مهم نیست، فقط میتونن وایسن و بزنن.
assuming they've got the big.
You know what I also love, Gino? I also love to see some of these northern like circles in World's Edge. We've had
یه لحظه لایو قطع شد.
to the south of World's Edge that I like a little bit of flexibility here.
مهم
Both
نیست
Reds have
کریپتو
also
رو
done this
داریم.
any time to make their way in Overlook. This is another type of squad that has
بذار کیفیت ببریم بالا.
looked to change a little bit of their composition, moving
یکم طول میکشه که لود کنه ولی لود
in
میکنه.
from World's Edge into Storm Point, but
تیم
they're also looking to get the information that they can.
لوبریکس با فیز اینور میخواد درگیری بشه.
Also making their way into Overlook.
Moist obviously now, yes, so they did get the ring console by the way, so that's why you can see them set up on the silo, obviously one of the best positions you can have. Other teams are starting to pile in though.
Moist سه تا تیم اینجا ساجی. اوه همشون رینگ گرفتن به خاطر همین برنامه برای رفتن ندارن. فیز هم داره بیلد و هولد میکنه. اینجا اولز کن زد که یارش بیاد سمت شما، یارش نجات بده. مویست ولی بکنم پوزیشن زیاد نمیتونم بگم بده، ولی خب لوت ندارم و نمیتونن از اینجا برن اونور چون فیز و بروویکس چیه اون میزندشون.
You can see that they're looking behind them, and just in case there's any cheeky rotations that we may be seeing with either a skyward dive or an evac tower.
TSM هم این ورطا داریم. همشون اومدن و رینگو دارن هولد میکنن. یا کنی ستاش از هم جدا شدن با فاصله کمی و هر ستاشون دارن یه دونه پوزیشن رو هولد میکنن که انمی نه سمتشون. اگه قرار بشه از یه جا بخورن، ریپس مثلا سمت تونل داشت اطلاع میده که برگردن و بتونن بزنن. البته این کارو کردن یه جوری تیما ریسک نمیکنن که برن طرف اون تیمه و سعی میکنن اگه با هم فایت ندن، چون بالاخره مچ های فینال و تا جای ممکن سیف پلی میدن. او اکسن یکیشون داره میفته رو هوا. شانس آوردن که واتسونشون رو ول کردن، سویچ کردن روی یکی دیگه که اون یکی رو بزنن. هونریس هونریس این برداریم. اکسنت تونست نجات، نه اکسنت تموم میشه به نظر میاد حتی که TSM هم راششون داده باشه. فکر کنم TSM بود که اکسن، بله TSM بود که اکسن رو تموم کرد. TSM اومده که چمپیون کاپ این دوره رو بگیره. TSM اومده که این دوره رو قهرمان شه. ریپ زدیم برداریم. ویرهنسته چیه؟ این اسمش خیلی سخته. پرهل هم اون پوزیشن گرفته. TSM اکسنت رو میبینه، یه اینفو میده، همه شو میرزن رو اکسن و اکسن رو تموم میکنه. این بار مویسته که داره روی TSM کر میریزه، چون که قرار نیست که احتمالا بره رو فایت. اولتشو میزنه. LG گفتم به نظر من شانس قهرمانی داره. ببینیم مچ‌های آخر چیکار میکنه. روز اول که واقعا طوفانی ظاهر شده بود، سه تا مچ اولی که پلی دادن دو تاشو وین کردن، یکیش هم که وین نکردن اونم پوینت خوبی نسبتا توش زده بودن. اشتباه نکنم.
Yeah, and it also gives them enough information to see if any teams do rotate through that tunnel, which we already mentioned and saw Optic Gaming using the Crafter over by Geyser. And if we could see where this next circle is going to be pulling, Genome, you just talked about this right here, depending on the positioning of TSM. And, you know, they also have the natural cover, aside from the crates, of the rock side here in that foundation, so they could deal with that as LG playing more outside the circle to get information of where that next ring is going to be.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a little bit north of where Optic are
دارک زیرو اینور داریم. فنتیک اگه اشتباه نکنم جلوشون. نه اف سی دیسترویه، فنتیک نیست اشتباه نکنم. اونورم اوتوسان رو داریم، اونور کی سی پی رو داریم. تی اس ام هم که پوزیشن بالا رو هولد کرده. اکسی تمام دقیقه رینگ نیومده. اکسین طرف هاندرتیوزه. هاندرتیوز هم خیلی تو تیم خوبیه. فایر بریوز رو داریم اینور، داره روتیت میکنه و فیز اگه اشتباه نکنم نزدیک بهشون. آره فیز جلوشونه و نمیدونم بین فیز و فایر بریوز با تیم دیگه هست یا نه. اوردر پشت فایر بریوزه. فایر بریوز سمت چپ اوردره.
Okay, Riddle Order, the most northerly of the teams right now. They're on top of Fire Beavers, you know, obviously a team who has looked for many fights throughout this tournament. And they'll probably happy to be seeing
بنگ و بلادهاند و هورایزن برداشتن. این ترکیب خیلی پیک میشه و بیشتر تا حالا تو تیم چیز دیدمش، تیم که هیز واتسون توش بود، حالا اسمش دقیقا یادم رفته، ولی تیم هیز واتسون بیشتر پیکش میکرد که فکر کنم هیز واتسون حتی نتونست تا چیز کوالیفای کنه تیمش اشتباه نکنم. اف سی دیستروی، دارک زیرو، مویست و کی سی بی همچنان اینجا وایستادن. اکسیژن اگه اشتباه نکنم که از اونور ملحق شده بهشون. رایلی اوردر رو میبینیم اینور که فایر بریوز رفته و ساختمون وسط گرفته. نگاه کنید اطرافشون نگاه میکنن که اینفو بگیرن تا حد ممکن. Talking about the squads that are still in Overlook. That's a really good position for them to be in because they also won't be in a bad spot because they'll have the slight high ground that is provided there in that natural land.
Yeah, well, I mean, the other thing about TSM's position is I was talking about how it had access to that circle and then the back Overlook circle. If they can win their way through the tunnel, they can also make it into Ghost Town. So that one's a little bit harder, but you know they're not exposed that much as they push through. It just depends if you know any other caustics that can block them on the way. I believe there's only one in the lobby right now. That will be Yuki from Alliance.
Yuki loves caustic.
چه خبر موسیک؟ مرده ای زنده ای؟
For a lot of these final circles too, especially actually talking about Alliance right now, looking at their position, playing by the bins here is to take a much more edge approach. Also,
Alliance هم اینور هولد کرده.
away from Lava Siphon, but I believe most of the teams right now have already rotated by Geyser, close to the north side of the map already too, closer to Overlook and Fragment. Teams like Exit that like to play on the edge too are going to be one of the squads late rotating away.
TSM با این پوینتی گرفته الان اول صدره و به نظر میرسه که دوباره میخواد قهرمانی رو بگیره.
Yet that will happen next circle. There isn't enough room really for 18 teams now.
Looking in the distance, Exit already have information at the squad that may have height over here on the other side of Epi. While Exit does do this though, I'm not expecting them to go for any heavy engagements. The circle going to be closing in a minute unless
اکسیت هم داریم. اکسیت پوزیشنش نسبتا خوبه. اگر یتونن یه دونه ای بک بزنن، البته ریسک واقعا توی این مچ ها ای بک زدن، شاید بتونن برن از اون پشت اون تیمه روتیت کنن. البته پیاده میتونن روتیت کنن، مشکلی ندارم فکر کنم. پیاده هم فکر نکنم مشکلی داشته باشن.
Well, we see this fight. Polfrex already in a lot of trouble. Look who has secured this building in Ghost Town. It's going to be Dark Zero.
دارک زیرو همه ریختن روش. رینگ 3 رو هم ولی دارن. TSM خوبیه جایی که گرفته اینه که هر جا رینگ بیفته الان TSM میتونه تقریبا سمتش حرکت کنه. بیرون رو به دو قسمت تقسیم میکنن که اونور اگه اشتباه نکنم اکسیژن بود، اکسیژن روشون نزنه چون اکسیچی LG هم داشت از اون ور میومد. البته اینور فایر بریوزه که بگم یکیشون نایک شده. اوردر، آره اوردر داره فایر بریوز رو راش میده که تمومش کنه. ببینیم میتونه فایر بریوز رو تموم کنه. یه تیم این وسط دد شد، من نفهمیدم کدوم تیم بود. بله اوردر فایر بریوز رو تموم میکنه. دارک زیرو هم یه تیم رو اینور تموم میکنه. به نظر اکسیژن بود یا نه KCP رو تموم میکنه. KCP رو تموم میکنه. بیز حالا TSM داره میره که فیز رو بزنه. ریپس آره ریپس هنوز خط پشت داره. LG چی فکر کنم طرف ریپسه و ممکنه از اون طرف بیاد. فیز پوزیشنش اصلا خوب نیست. هر لحظه ممکنه دد شه کل تیمشون. یکی رو به نظر از دست میده. بله دوتا رو از دست میدن. اشتباه نکنم که دارک زیرو داره از اونور میزنه. اوردر هم داره میاد که پوش میده. اوردر تو دردسر افتاده. TSM با تمام قدرت داره حمله میکنه. قصد عقب اومدن هم نداره. استادیوم همه استادا دارن TSM رو تشکیل میکنن آجی. TSM تا الان فکر کنم تونستن 6 آمار دقیق نمیده ولی فکر کنم 6 نفر رو زده باشن. TSM اوله تا الان. آمارمون بالا نشون داد ندیدم TSM دقیقا چند تا پوینت گرفته. اکسیژن رو اینور داریم. الاینس کنار اکسیژنه. به امکان داره که الاینس راش اکسیژن بده ولی از اونجایی که اکسیژن نیمه هایگراندی داره فکر نکنم این ریسکو کنه. آره الاینس روتیت میکنه داره طرفی که اکسیت بود میره. اکسیت که از اون ور روتیت کرده باشه از اینجا رفته وگرنه اکسیت بهشون نزدیک. آره اکسیت اینجاست. اکسیت اینجاست. میزنه که از اکسیت و الاینس پوزیشن خیلی خوبی گرفته برای بد زدن. حتی اولت بنگ هم بهشون نمیگیره. الاینس پوزیشنش الان خوبه. اکسیژن فقط حواسش باید باشه که پشت نیاد روشون ولی اکسیژن از اونجا که چند تا تیم داره میزندشون نمیتون دستشون باز نیست برن روی الاینس پوزیشن بگیرن. اینورم KCP رو داشتیم که KCP دد شده. الان نمیدونم دقیقا کدوم تیم اومده این بیلدو گرفته. 10 تا تیم مونده. اینور LG چیوز بود که فکر نکنم LG چیوز دد شده باشه و هنوز فکر کنم داخل همون ساختمونه باشه.
As we get a look, that is essentially where the ring will end up. Any long-time Apex South fans might remember a classic moment from here, actually, where we had Team Great
فکر کنم اتوسان داخل ساختمونه.
in that very position.
So epic to be able to recall moments like this and remember these teams who have put in so much.
اتوسان نظر میسه داخل ساختمونه. انرژی رو داریم اینور. انرژی فکر کنم نزدیک دارک زیرو. بله دارک زیرو راچ انرژی رو میده. من میخوام انرژی رو تمام کنه. انرژی لسه. بله دارک زیرو انرژی رو تمام میکنه. دارک زیرو باز بین دو تا قهرمان قبلی مسابقه افتاده. LG گفتم LG هنوز همین داخله. LG این داخل گیر که فکر نکنم کرده باشه، ولی خب راههای زیادی برای رفتن بیرون نداره. دارک زیرو خیلی زده که چهارمه با 9 تا پوینت. LG ششمه. FC دیستروی هم که فکرم دد شده. LG پوش اوتوسان فکر کنم داده. نه پوش آپتیک گیمینگ رو داده. LG هم همچنان من بهش امیدوارم که بزنه. اوتوسان واقعا آپتیک گیمینگ واقعا پوزیشنش خیلی بده. فکر کنم آره دیگه آپتیک تموم کرد. LG آپتیک رو تموم کرد. TSM حالا داره میبره. TSM رسیده و داره اجراش LG چیف میده. TSM تموم میکنه یکی از LG رو. چه میکنه با پرولر؟ تموم میکنه LG چیو تمام میکنه. TSM خود ریپس میفته از تیم TSM، ولی میتونن ریوایوش کنن. به نظر میرسه میخوان هر جوری شده ریپس رو تمام کنن. اگه یه دو تاکتیکال هورایزن براش بندازه میتونه بیارتش این و ریوایو بده. برای داره ریوایوش میده. ناگدان شیل گل هم داشته و بعد از ریوایو هیل هم داره و مشکلی نداره الان یارشون. TSM میخواد وینو بگیره. 14 تا پوینت. دارک زیرو 13 تا پوینت داره اگه اشتباه نکنم. نه باشه 21 پوینت. با 21 پوینت بیچونه چرا سرنشین TSM. بگم TSM میپرال کریبر شده و میگه یکی با کریبر منو زده. رینگ داره بسته میشه و ببینیم کی مچ اولو چمپیون میکنه. TSM خیلی پوزیشن خوبی رو هولد کرده. البته اون تیمی که بالا بود نمیدونم الاینس بود کی بود، اونها پوزیشنش بهتر از هم است. یکی رو میزنه. ریپس داره چیکار میکنه آجی؟ ریپس داره چیکار میکنه؟ فکر نکنم بتونن ریوایوش کنن اونی که افتاده رو. فکر کنم یکی تیم از بگ یه کنارشونه. آره الاینس و نباشه اکسیژن و چیز کرده. اون تیمی که بالای ساختمون احتمال دارک زیرو باشه. احتمال فکر کنم گرفتن یارشون حتی. اکسیژن سمت راستشونه. یه دونه تاکتیکال میزنه اکسکم میکنه ببینه وضعیت تیم حریف چطوریه. الاینس فکر کنم پلی روی دارک زیرو. الاینس پوزیشن اگه الاینس باشه پوزیشن واقعا بده. یه نید میخواد بندازه. TSM نیدشون میخوره، ولی اگه اونورتر بود که دیگه کار دارک زیرو تموم بود. یکی اینور نایک شده میخواد فینیشش کنن. الان میخوام برن رو اکسیژن به نظر میرسه. خط اکسیژن گرفتن. چه دمیج سگی میزنه. وانه میزنه. دان میکنه که از اعضای تیم اکسیژنو. TSM میخواد قهرمان شه. بله وان بی وان با تیم اکسیژن هم هست که فکر یکیشون هم انداختن. میخواد بره رز بده اگه اشتباه نکنم. لاستی 2 نفرن ولی همشون دمیجن. TSM اومده که قهرمانی رو ببره آجی. TSM اومده که کاپ رو ببره خونه. پشمام واقعا. TSM اومده کاپ رو ببره خونهش. چند تا پوینت زدن؟ فکر کنم 30 تا بیشتر زده باشن حتی. مچ اول توفانی شروع کردن. مچ اول طوفانی شروع کردن. داخل باسن شهر عروسی حاجی.
It had so many options. Didn't matter where the circle was going to go, TSM were going to be in a good spot to move out from there. But then the patience, they didn't go too deep, even though there was so many fights there. Really, they could have picked and taken on the north side.
همه دارن TSM رو تشویق میکنن. هم مچی رو زد. واقعا که میگه بهترین تیم واقعا ثابت کرده که بهترینه. انرژی رو دارکسی رو تموم کرد و فکر کنم از نگاه از نگاه تیم TSM دارن نشون میدن دوباره. ببین چه پوزیشنی رو گرفته، یه جا که مطمئنه که اصلا هیچ کس نمیزنتش رو گرفته. 11 تا اینجا تیم کیل داشتن، تا اینجا فقط 11 نفر رو زده بودن. این گرینه دیگه داره که اونو هولد کرد. من نفهمیدم اصلا اونور تیما چطوری مردن. اکسیژن فکر کنم الان رتبهش خیلی خوب باشه بین تیما. البته داگزیرو هم کیل کم نزنه، ولی فکر کنم اکسیژن که دوم شد واقعا دوم باشه. Now that KCP is finished off, they wait for the wall to go down. It has lasted long enough, and you can see Alliance is shoved into this corner here. Once that rock is out of play, it's too easy for TSM. اینجا هم اکسیژن رو تموم کردن و بیچونه چرا رو وینو گرفتن.
We have to highlight this legend, looking at the amount of kills that this entire team put down. Reps with the 3 kills like you were talking about before, Genome, playing a lot more passively. Hal coming in with the 6k P, over 2k damage between him and
این پرحل 2000 تا دمیج زده. رپس 800 تا زده و مجموع کیلشون 15 تا کیل زدن. با 12 تا 27 تا پوینت مچ اول تونستن بگیرن. مچ اول 27 تا پوینت میگیرن. جایزه ایشون به پول ایران 15 میلیارد میشه دیگه. ببینید میتونیم 15 میلیارد رو بزنه به جیب و برن خونه. گفتم 27 تا پوینت. الاینس دومه، فکر نمی‌کردم واقعا الاینس دوم باشه. اکسیژن 7 تا پوینت فقط زده، هفتمه. من فکر کردم اکسیژن الاینس رو زد تموم کرد. داگزیرو هم 10 تا داره ولی هیچی معلوم نیست، تازه مچ اوله. ممکنه که تیما دوباره بیان و پوینتی بیشتری بزنن، ولی تا اینجای کار که به نظر میرسه TSM قهرمانه. مچ اول TSM زد ترکون همه رو. اوردر هم 5 تا پوینت گرفته و من دوست دارم الان چیز اصلی رو نشون بده، 4 تا اصلی رو نشون بده. فناتیک بدون پوینت دد شده. فایربولیز با اینکه 17 هم شده 2 تا پوینت رو گرفته، حتی از فیزی که 15 هم شده هم بالاتر قرار میگیره. آندرتیوز هم خیلی سریع دد شد. TSM رو میبینیم، TSM فنا. این مویست خیلی توشه.
of what they made for that first game, they're securing already 36 points out of the 50 that they need to already sit on match point.
Yeah, so the top 3 teams on the group stage are currently the top 3 teams in our finals here. Moist started with 10, Alliance with 8, and TSM with 9. That's why their points
مویست سومه، اکسیژن چهارمه، داگزیرو پنجمه و TSM با 36 پوینت اوله. چطوری حساب شده 36 تا؟ من نمیدونم هنوز، چون تیم اول 12 تا میگیره، کیل هم هر دون یکی 15 تا و بعد همون 27 که اونجا داشته باشه. چطوری 36 تا گرفته؟ من نمیدونم چطوری حساب شده 36 تا گرفته.
was just our first game on World's Edge. We still have one more game to go on World's Edge before we swap over to Storm Point. That's coming to you on the other side of this break.
ACP فناتیک الاینس نمی که افکت باید اشتباه نکنم انرژی اسویت TSM ایمپرهل که اومده دوباره یک کاپ دیگر رو ببره خونش.
Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the Apex Legends Global Series.
سینزده ثانیه دیگه یه دقیقه و 13 ثانیه دیگه برمیگردن. مچ دوم ببینیم چی میشه. تیم‌ها واقعا فشار زیادی الان روشونه. تا مچ سوم اوکیه، تیم‌ها نگران نیستن دیگه. از مچ سوم باید نگران شن. حداقل تیم‌ها اول نشن، دوم و سومی هم باید بجنگن که بالاخره 1500 دلار نباشه 1600 دلار نفر دوم میبره. 150,000 دلار نفر دوم میبره و 105,000 دلار هم نفر تیم سوم میبره. جایزه کمی نیست. حتی یه رتبه هم بیان بالا حداقل پول خوبی میگیرن.
WD Black, the official storage partner of the Apex Legends Global Series.
Welcome back to London, everybody. Welcome to the Copper Box Arena. And what a start to our match point finals we have just had. A team who's pretty comfortable in this setting, having picked up a trophy the last time they were here. TSM get off to the hottest of starts.
An unbelievable start to the day here on Sunday. I was going to come up here and start talking about, well, you know, TSM, their win rates aren't that great on World's Edge, and then they go and blow us all out of the water. An amazing start, and I tell you what, they're on their way to match point already, our TSM.
They certainly have. I'm sure that everybody who's on the stage is wondering what TSM had for breakfast, because boy, do they look ready, do they look locked in and prepared to march towards another championship. But only game one done, of course. It's time for us to head into the second match of our match point finals. We're staying on World's Edge here, everybody, and the drop ship is ready.
رفتیم برای مچ دوم داخل مپ ورزج. تیم‌ها دوباره دارن میپرن. خوشم میاد فینال حداقل دارن سریع جمع میکنن. بین مچ‌ها فاصله نیست. روز اول که دیگه دهن سرویس میشه یه مچ ببینی.
Of course, we had an eastern zone in match number one. We'll have to see where it pulls this take.
Just as the teams take a little second to hit their drop spots, it gives us a second to just praise Danny Verhulst. My goodness, what a performance he had in that game one, especially in the end game, not missing a bullet, which led TSM to that win. But here is that contest you were talking about, Dan. Already some shots being fired.
Such an influential contest as well because it holds a
اینور دوباره اوتوسانو داریم که اومده انتقام خودشو بگیره. ببین اوتوسان میتونه انتقام خودشو بگیره. یادم نیست اینجا داشتم کیپ وید میدادم مچ اول، ولی اوتوسان این مچ که دیگه زده پارهشون کرده. و بله بلک وندو تموم میکنه. اسم این تیم حاجی واقعا سخت تلفظش. من پاره میشم بخوام این اسمشو بگم. فکر نکنم یه بارم تونستم درست بگم. هر سری دارم اشتباه میگم.
So for now, it's just the looting part. You can see that's the only contest that we do have, like you quite rightly said. And I'm sure that everyone who's watching is aware of as well. This is going to be a tough zone for TSM to get to after their hot start.
خب بیز رو داریم گوشه مپ. اوردر هم اینجا رو گرفته. این زون دوم جا زیاد داره برای اینکه تیما بتونن هولد کنن. مپ استون پوینت اصلا جا زیاد نداره ولی کلا مپ چیز بیشتر انرژی رو داریم اینور. اوتوسان نمیدونم کدوم کجا رفت. آره اوتوسان بالا بود اشتباه کنم. اوتوسان حالا افتاده دنبال انرژی که انرژی رو بزنه. یه تیمو زدن و دیگه شاخ شدن. TSM رو داریم اینور که داره روتیت میکنه بره برای رینگ. یه لوت سریع زدن. گان چی دارن؟ نمسیس داره با پراولر. ترکیبی که زیاد ازش میبینیم توی تیم TSM. روز اول هم اگه اشتباه نکنم با این تیم این ترکیب داشتن پلی میدادن.
Two balloons going to be used by TSM on this rotate. One over at Lava Siphon, the other one carried in the back pocket, in the backpack of one of the players, as we see also.
فنتیک از این ور داره نزدیک میشه اگه اشتباه نکنم.
So TSM have the timing on them.
نه FC دیستروی. آره FC دیستروی داره نزدیک میشه. ممکنه فنتیک.
That's where they'll look to play from for quite some time. Dark Zero heading right in towards zone, but FC Destroy not too far away from TSM here.
And when it comes to mentality, when you are a competitor in this final, you've just seen TSM do that.
TSM به نظرم امکان داره روتیت کنه بره اون پایینا رو بگیره. ولی از اونجا که رینگ نیست، اگه رینگ رو انداخته باشن که نمیرن پایین، ولی اگه رینگ ننداخته باشه امکان داره برن پایین. هاندر تیوز رو داریم اینور با همراه اکسیژن. یه تیم دیگه هم بود، اون دیگه تیمو دیگه ندیدم دقیقاً کیه. اکسیژن داره روتیت میکنه که بره داخل رینگ. اینور اکست رو داریم. چه میکنه با این تیمه؟ با هاندر تیوز اگه اشتباه نکنم فایت داره میده. اولتشون بد میفته. چند تا میس بد میده. هم اولتشون میس دادن هم آرکستارشون رو میستادن. در هولد کردن هر توشون نگه دارن. اگه اکسیژن اینجا بود راحت میتونست برگرده اون تیما رو بزن. موج سالا نه مثل اینکه داره ببخشید اکسی داره مویست رو میزنه. چیز از اون پایین نیومده. اکسیژن ممکنه برقرار. اینور فنتیکو داریم که یک کیل میگیره اینجا فنتیک و اوتوسان رو تموم میکنن. اینجوری که به نظر رسه اوتوسان رو گرفت فنتیک و تمومش کرد کلا.
the northern way after they come from that southern tip, but it will be a real decision from them as to whether they fancy just going for those kills, playing a little bit more edge, or if they want to push more central in towards Survey Camp. But at the moment, Skyhook, there is just a lot of teams who are posturing up against one another.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bottleneck.
Exit, Oxygen, Moist. Oxygen دید که دارن فایت میدن، برگشت که یکی دو تا کیل ببینه میتونه از اینجا بگیره دیگه. دو تا از یه تیم کم ناک شدن. اکسیژن یه تیم یه نفر رو زدن و یه تیم هم اینجا دد شده بود که دارن لوتش میکنن، مهماتشون رو اوکی کنن. رید از تیم اکسیژن رو داریم میبینیم که سیر داره، بیشتر تیم ها سیر رو پیک میکنه چون سیر دیگه قبل از انرژی واقعا اوپی شده. سیر واقعا اوپی شده.
I think for Oxygen, as long as they can get into that final circle, I mean, I'd always back them with how well they've been fighting. The decision making has been excellent every single time they get into those 3v3 engagements and also the final circles. The wins speak for themselves. They've been able to find throughout this weekend. You could say the same for Fnatic, who have also had several victories on their side, a couple of them coming on World's Edge, so they will feel comfortable here on this map. But remember, if we were to see TSM get onto match point here in match 2, we do switch over to Storm Point for match 3, and suddenly that opens up a whole new dynamic for a lot of these squads who maybe were performing better on that map.
Well, back over to Survey Camp, you can see Ascend. They're fighting against Dark Zero right now. They did lose one.
اکسی رو داریم اینور که دارک زیرو میریزه رود شو و تو چند ثانیه تمومش میکنه. دارک زیرو میگه که این مش من اومدم دیگه بیام بالا، 100 رو میخوام. 17 تا پلیسمنت زدن و فکر کنم توی جدول سوم اشتباه کنم. فیز یه دونه داره. دارک زیرو آره دارک زیرو سومه با 17 تا. تی اس ام هنوز اوله. اکسیژن 15 تا داره و اومده پنجم. اوردر 11ام ال جی چی که من باش امید داشتم هفتمه.
off of 50 where match point is, but just in behind them, involved in that end game, was Alliance as well. They have 24 points, so it's not just TSM who might be able to jump on a match point in this next game. Alliance will need a big game, don't get me wrong, but they're very capable of
capable
of it. I mean, they've not really had massive games as close to what TSM were able to
که از
achieve.
آسیا رفته کره باشه که اشتباه کنم یا چینیه. ژاپنی فکر نمی‌کنم باشه. حقیقتا اکسید رو داریم. الاینس اینور.
We've seen so many times when teams are starting to get closer to match point that they fall out in the early stages. But good news for TSM is they have been able to post up nice and
دمیج نداد تیرش. من نمیفهمم چی شد اونجا. نشون نداد دمیجشو. الاینس یکیشون دد شده، یکی دیگه شون هم تو خطره. یه تیم اینور که امکان داره فنتیک باشه که دارک زیرو ریخته روش. تی اس ام یکیشون ناک شده. نکنه تی اس ام باشن. این پرهل هم ناک شده. هر طوری شده این پوزیشن رو هولد کردن و نمیذارن که ریوایو بده طرف. واو چه لیزر بدی. تی اس ام میرزه و فناتیک رو تمام میکنه. تی اس ام میرزه دوش دارک زیرو میرزه و فناتیک رو تمام میکنه. حالا فایر بریف زد بالا داره میاد. نمیدونم الاینس سرش چی اومد. الاینس دد شد یا نه الاینس افکت رو حداقل میبینم که بالا وایستاده و هنوز زنده است.
But they also need to be careful and aware of what could happen if they expose themselves from the west.
Yeah, a little bit of a scary moment there for Dark Zero. Like you say, Fire Beavers putting some good damage in as they tried to cross back. But the good news for Dark Zero, nobody went down. That signal wasn't given like it was for Dark Zero or Fnatic a few moments ago, that we can close that ground and we can push and clear them out. For now though, elsewhere on the map, we're going over towards Climatizer at the moment. This is Optic Gaming on our screens, but right next to them, couple of other teams as well. FC Destroy and Pioneers very, very close here. And Skillcase decided maybe there's too many teams.
اینور اپتیک گیمینگ رو داریم.
Pioneers are also in the area. And now Optic Gaming just need to make sure they try and group up. They're so scattered at the moment.
Skillcase has gone down and now it's dropped and Nox, who have to try and salvage something here. KCP do hold, they get that first knock, but FC Destroy also here as well. The zone closing behind them, but they will be safe.
FC Destroy هم داریم.
Destroy could do with this composition on this map as Zane is just going to escape, rat out and try and stay alive here as FC Destroy have made their fortress once more. All these teams at
FC Destroy پوزیشن هولد کرده. ولی خب اگه یه تیم پوشش بده که یکم سخته واقعا الان که میبینم، چون که واتسون دارم و تیمی که واتسون داشته باشه یکم پوش دادن بهش سخت میشه.
Looks pretty unlikely they're going to be able to get that banner as well. And I think
اپتیک گیمینگ رو اینور داریم که داره روتیت میده. یکیشون هم کلا از دست دادم و به نظر میرسه از یه دارم یه تیم فرار میکنن. یه تیم جلوشون رو دارن. چه زمین رو طرف این کرد. آندرتیوز اینور داریم.
100 Thieves, another squad who exited very early in match number 1, are just holding this western side. If they do decide to push through these train tracks, it's Alliance who are waiting for them.
Alliance in her eyes right now, and as they try and hold off the push coming in from 100 Thieves, it's a perfect time to jump into a listening with Alliance.
If they push, they get pinched. We just stall it.
Yeah.
Caustic ult.
Commissars.
Tony Waking.
الاینس 25 تا پوینت داره و دوم ایستاده با قدرت تمام.
You can ADS as well. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know, but I'd rather queue in case they push. You know, it's better to counter queue. Like if they queue me, I'm just gonna queue instantly back. Okay? Yeah, I'm just basically.
But team has to come and fight us, right, or go around. They can't really unless the evac from here.
It's a catalyst Horizon team, I think. I don't know what the third is.
It is.
They have the evac over, otherwise they come and fight us.
That's fine. That's what we want. We just don't want them to A-pulse.
This team should have left by now as well.
Yeah, they're playing north side.
Bangalore team here.
They're leaving. They're coming your side. Careful. Get yourself up. Nobody close on my scan.
I'm gonna put 2 more barrels on this side.
Listen. There's a duo here, Horizon and Bangalore, and City's holding back there still.
Yeah.
On Grandmas.
Give you 1 barrel here.
Just make sure we kill the team on the right. We need to take that spot. If they slide down, they need to die. Okay?
Okay.
Just don't die for it. We just pinch.
پوزیشن رو هولد کردن.
Yeah, that's about right. Don't let them land on that spot. We're gonna have to save our APC for that spot, by the way.
It's fine. We're just walking late.
هر طوری هست میخوان اینجا نگاه دارن. هر طوری هست میخوان اینجا نگاه دارن. آندرتیو اوردر بکنم راش آندرتیو زده. کرک میکنه اوردر داره میره که تموم کنه. انرژی آندرتیو اوردره. اوردر آمد انرژی رو تمام کرد. حاجی من فکر نمی کردم بتونه چنین کارو کنه. چیکار کردم با انرژی اکسیدی که 2 تا رو بکنم دان کرده. یکی از اکسید هم دان شده میخواد ریوایو بده یا حداقل فگرس بزنه که به نظر مشکل نداره ریوایو میده. با LG چیف درگیره میپره پایین طرف.
It's a 1v2, but if anyone could do it, Yanya can. It's a 1v2, but there's a lot of noise that's being made as LG Chivas do get eliminated.
LG چی رو تموم کردن آجی. LG چی فکر نکنم دیگه بتونه بلند شه. الاینس الان راش اکست داده. الاینس که راش اکست داده. افکت رو داریم اینور که داره میره که اکسیت رو تموم کنه. ببینیم میتونه اکسیت رو تموم کنه. اینجا اکسیت داره هر جوری که هست ما فرار کنه. یکیشون کرک شده، یکیشون دیگه شیلد خورده. بله اکسیژن اینجا تموم کردن. این مچ کسیک آوردن به خودشون. این مچ کسیک آوردن به خودشون.
In match number 2 here at the grand finals of the split 2 playoffs, that is unbelievable. To put that into context, if they were to get into the top 5 here with a couple of more kills, that would be match point. And the position they currently hold is very strong because all of these teams like Exit, Alliance, Dark Zero
TSM هم اینجا خوب هولد کرده. 4 تا کیل زده، مشکلی نداره. هنوز فکرم توی رتبه اول با اختیار ایستاده. الاینس داره میره طرف جایی که ایمپرال هست، یعنی ایمپرال تیمش TSM هست. TSM اگه بتونه الاینس بزنه که جاش باز بهتر میشه توی جدول و بقیه تیم‌ها کارشون سخت‌تره تا بیان روی چیز. دارک زیرو این داور دارک زیرو الاینس و TSM همشون یه جان. هر کدوم از تیم‌های الاینس و یا دارک زیرو اینجا تمام میشه یا اگه TSM اینا رو بزنه که دیگه نوره. دارک زیرو دراش الاینس داده. الاینس پوزیشن خوب نیست به نظر TSM که داره میپره روی. بله TSM میپره روی الاینس رو یکیشونو میزنه. یکی میگیره اینور یکی رو تمام میکنه. TSM نظر جاش خوبه و مشکلی نداره و الاینس کدوم تیم رو اوردر رو تمام کردن یا الاینس تموم شده فکر کنم. اینور فایر بریوزه که نفر لستشونه و فایر بیورز هم تموم میکنن. مش داره جذاب میشه. 7 تا کیل تیم TSM زده، هنوز اوله با 46 تا. دارک زیرو اومده دوم و داره تهدیدشون میکنه. الاینسی که مرده، فیزی که زنده است، دارک زیرو که اومده دوم وایساده و به نظر الاینس رفته توی رتبه سوم. اکسیژن رو داریم اینور به جلوی اکسیژن اگه اشتباه نکنم یا اوتوسان، به جلوی اکسیژن یا اوتوسان.
Six squads that are remaining means you have to be very careful with where you try and push here, because if you expose yourself from even the slightest angle, there could be several teams that will just destroy you as you move.
به جلوی اکسیژن یا اوتوسان نمیدونم واقعا.
On the other side of things, TSM are going to have to be so aware of the position of FC Destroy. Yes, TSM have the high ground here, but they don't have the zone. That's going to be pulling towards Pulverex. 4 points required for TSM to get onto match point, and now they're making their move towards FC Destroy. Dark Veil goes down just to give them that extra cover.
FC Destroy فکر کنم جلوی TSM داره پوزیشن میگیره که FC رو بزنه، ولی حواسش به پشتم باشه که پشت نخوره. TSM میخواد سریع FC Destroy تمام کنه تا پوزیشنش رو ازشون بگیره. جایی که وایسادن برای TSM میتونه خوب باشه و اگه تموم نکنه که میخوره که بله خورد. یه FC Destroy یه پلی خوب روی اولت نیوکاسلشون داشت. حالا دارک زیرو رو داریم از این ور. دارک زیرو اومده که تیم رو تمام کنه. یه سواب قشنگ و یه تیم لستشون مونده که لستم ببین میتونه یا نه تیمه تمام میشه. یه تیم دیگه میره FC Destroy وین میکنه. آجی دارک زیرو زد ولی TSM میکنه هنوز اول باشه. فکر کنم TSM هنوز اول باشه. هم دارک زیرو رو زد هم TSM رو زد. FC Destroy چیکار کرد؟ هم TSM رو میزنه هم TSM رو میزنه هم دارک زیرو رو. FC Destroy حالا بلند شده که بیاد برای صدر جدول. فکر کنم 4 تا کیل حداقل زد. با این 12 تا که میگیره 16 تا پوینت میگیره و جاش توی رنکینگ حداقل بین تاپ 5 میرسه. FC Destroy الان نفس راحت کشیده ولی بقیه تیم‌ها هنوز باید حواسشون رو جمع کنن که نخورن که حرف قشنگی نیست. به چوخ سگ نرن.
FC Destroy are able to post up and get into one of those primary positions, it's so difficult for other squads. As for TSM, it means they are now 4 points away from match point. Very achievable going into Storm Point, but Storm Point now is a different kettle of fish. There is going to be a lot of teams that are going to be looking to maybe
یه مچ دیگه از ورزش خواهیم داشت و بعد میریم واسه سه مچ استورم پوینت. اینجا FC Destroy یه انگل خیلی خوب گرفت. TSM اونجا بزنه با اولت نیوکاسلی که اینجا کاشته بودن. یه انگل گرفت اینجا تیم میتشون. جایی که فکر میکرد TSM حدسو داره میزنه. نگاه کنید چقدر قشنگ داره TSM رو دمیج میکنه. TSM اینجا پرید که بزنه FC Destroy رو. میخواست هرچه سریعتر فقط FC Destroy رو تموم کنه که بتونه پوزیشنش رو بگیره. من به نظرم میترسید که دارک زیرو که از پشتشونه بیاد روشون، به خاطر همین عجله کردن. اینجا داکتریو رو میبینیم که میبینن که میپره روی تیمه و میبینن دوتا تیم مونده سریع پوش میدن که ترد کنن و چمپو بزنن. داکتریو هم داشت تمام تلاشش رو میکرد که سریع تیمه رو تموم کنه. تو مفندش با 6 تا کیل و در 7 تا کیل بله 7 تا کیل زده 19 تا پوینت میگیره. داکتریو با اینکه دو موجود 23 تا پوینت تونسته بگیره. تی اس ام چند تا؟ تی اس ام 10 تا فقط پوینت گرفت حاجی. داکتریو حتی ممکنه اول اومده باشه، بعید میدونم ولی امکانش هست و فاصله‌اش هم با تی اس ام خیلی کم کرده. حداقل بذار ببینیم توی جدول اصلی به چه صورته. الاینس فقط با 3 تا پوینت دت میشه. قطعا رده دوم داکتریو داره و باز رقابت بین تیمای داکتریو و تی اس ام بالا گرفته. داکتریو اومده که جامو از تی اس ام پس بگیره. تی اس ام هم نمیخواد جامو بهش بده و میخواد دفاع کنه از عنوان قهرمانیش.
It's 2 games in, Dan. It's 2 games in. It's 2 games in, but with some of the heavy hitters already getting such big points totals, it does become concerning for some of these squads who haven't got any points yet. Ascend, 0 points on the board in both match 1
این مچ رو تموم کردن. این جدول الان رفت. قطعا جدول اصلی میاد. داره تحلیل میکنه روش. اکسیت 4 تا پوینت زده، اکسیژن 2 تا زده. ال جی چیوز واقعا داخل تیم فینال عملکرد خوبی نداشته. انرژی هم همینطور. انرژی هم عملکرد اصلا خوبی نداشته و اون پایین هاست. یه تیم داکتریو عملکردش تو این مچ رو داره نمیده 3 تا کیل، 4 تا کیل و 7 تا کیل. 2000 تا و 1000 تا دمیج. خیلی عملکرد خوبی داخل این مچ داکتریو داشته و داکتریو جاشو محکم کرده و میخواد هر جوری شده دوباره جامو پس بگیره. لیدر تیم داکتریو اینجا داشته. نه بچه کوچشون بود، این لیدرشونه. تی اس ام با 46 و 10 پوینت اختلاف هنوز روی رتبه اول نشسته. الاینس فقط 27 تا پوینت داره و اومده سوم. اف سی دیستروی با اینکه وینکت چهارم نشسته با 24 تا پوینت. اکسیژن همون رتبه پنجم خودش رو نگه داشته. مویس که اگه اشتباه نکنم چهارم بود اومده ششم وایساده. KCP 14 تا پوینت، فیز 12 تا. فیز واقعا عملکرد خوبی داخل فینال داشته. فیز معمولا زیاد تیم چیزش قوی نیست، تیم اپکسش، ولی توی این مسابقات خیلی بهتر از سال قبل به نظرم کار کرده. فیز آندرتیوز که میگن نتیجه بهتری بگیره روی 18 و فنتیک 16. فنتیک اصلا انتظار نداشتم 16 باشه. فنتیک اصلا انتظار 16 برای فنتیک حداقل نداشتم. خب داریم میریم برای مچ سوم. ببینیم بالاخره کدوم تیم بخواد قهرمان شه. با هم ببینیم بالاخره کدوم تیم بخواد قهرمان شه و جامو ببره خونش. فکر کنم با کوچ یا صاحب تیم هست همچین چیزی دارن یه مصاحبه میکنن.
What does that feel like to have so much support here, and what has the atmosphere been like?
Wow, I cannot explain how much it means to hear the fans, the crowd shouting our name. It means so much, and the vibe inside here in this arena is just amazing. Yeah, it means everything.
Yes, it does. And now, you know, Alliance, they're here on this stage, you know, fighting for that championship. You know, what's one thing is that you want to let the fans know out there who've been supporting you all?
I just want to thank everyone that's been out there supporting us. I really notice your Twitter and social media, and it
ساپورتش کردن تا اینجا برسن.
The boys know it, we feel it, and can't thank you enough. Thank you.
What will the championship here today mean for the organization of Alliance and to do it?
فکر کنم داره ازش میپرسه که به نظرت عمل کرده الاینس امروز چطور خواهد بود؟
Yuki, I mean, there's such good players. They really deserve this. I just hope that we can get TSM and Dark Zero to, you know,
یه
take
TSM
over
هم
this time. We deserve it the most.
دارک زیرو هم تیمای خوبی هم و داره از TSM دارک زیرو تعریف کنه. ولی دارک زیرو هم خیز خیلی بلندی برداشته و داره TSM رو تعدیل میکنه.
As we get ready to head into this next game, keep bringing up the energy, everybody, and get your hands up.
یه دونه از عروسکای یه دونه که نه الانیز چقدر طرفدار داره. داره عروسکای مغزودشون داره فناشو پرت میکنن. یارو اینگاه داره توپ میندازه دهن سرویس. چرا چیز میگیره؟ گارد میگیره. گارد میگیره، استایل میگیره، بعد میندازه.
Strong crowd favorites at the moment, but they are still a way to go to get to match point as we move over to Storm Point. So everything that these teams had learned about all the other 19 teams they're going against completely changes now.
خب رفتیم برای مچ سوم. خوش آمده که امروز دارم مچ ها رو حداقل سری برگزار میکنم. لفت نمیدم.
We are closing in on a couple of teams already after just 3 games.
که لفت نمیدن خوبه.
Match point. TSM just need 4. Oh, Dark Zero, they need 14 as we see the contest thrown down once more.
Well, I know Riddle Order was the only question mark that we kind of had of where are they going to contest anywhere, and it's unfortunately for Ganbari Otazan, it's another
سه تا مچ مگه توی ورزه برگزار شد آجی؟ چطوری سه تا مچ برگزار شد؟ الو؟ یه مچ رو TSM وین کرد. یه مچ هم اون یکی تیم وین کرد. تیم دیگه مگه وین کرده؟ دیگه FCDC رو وین کرده کسی دیگه وین نکرده. الان ما نمیدونم شد من دارم اشتباه بگم آوازم ماهی شد آجی. آره دیگه یه مچ 27 تا پوینت زد.
Certainly do indeed. They're going to be able to get a bit more info what's going to be happening on the map as well. They do have a survey beacon to play with.
اینور اکسیژن داریم، انرژی اینجا لند کرده، اپتیک داریم، فناتیک رو داریم. فناتیک همیشه اینجا لند میکنه. TSM رو داریم که اینجا لند کرده. TSM ندیدم تا حالا راست اینجا لند کنه، ولی امکان داره بیان پوش فناتیک رو بدن و از این استفاده کنه که بعید میدونم استفاده کنم، میتونم بیان پوش فناتیک رو بدن. FCDC رو تجمیل مچ قبل رو داریم و فیز رو داریم، LG چیپ رو داریم، اکسیژن رو داریم، دارک زیرو رو داریم، فایل بریوز رو داریم، اوردر رو اینور داریم میبینیم که داره روتیت میکنه. اوردر مگه دادی اینجاست.
Maybe the zone info they would have wanted, but this is what we're expecting to see in our end zone down.
Yeah, Barometer is the POI where it's closest to be where we're going to be finishing. We're going to see a lot of teams on that high tower just setting up. The first team to get there is going to be in one of the prime positions to pick up a lot of kills from the teams arriving from the southwest, perhaps. But Riddle Order, they're still having a little bit of a scrap. They know there's a team inside. Maybe this is a cheeky ambush.
Trying to pull off, but a ruse. They can take them down without being shown themselves. The armor is such a risky thing sometimes. You've got a team perched on top. We saw it yesterday how it can really fall apart for either team, to be honest with you. Jim Burton though, oh dear.
دارک زیرو چه یه دمه‌ای زد میخواد بره که تیمو تمام کنه. اکسیژن اگه جلوش، من نمیدونم دقیقا کدوم تیمی جلوشونه، ولی هر تیمی که هست راششو میده.
Shots being exchanged. You wonder if Dark Zero do fancy this. Knock back to his feet. like you said, just managed to get inside of that building, which makes the push so much more difficult.
به نظر میرسه که پشیمون شده موقع بعد هولد کنه اطرافش هم نگاه میکنه که تیم دیگه نیاد روشون اصلا جای پوزیشن خوبی برای فایت ندارن اینجا اگه برن روی تیمی که اینجاست ممکنه ترد شن و اصلا ریسک نمیکنن بخاطر همین اینجا اوردر رو میبینی که خطی دیگه از تیم‌ها رو گرفته ولی از یه طرف دیگه هم یه تیم دیگه داره میزنه این تیمو. به نظر من اگه اون تیم کریمینالیزه رو این اوردر بهتره به نفع اون تیم هست چون اوردر اگه این تیمو بزنه الان اوردر ولی باید سریع تموم کنه چون تیم امکان داره راششون بده. اف سی دیستروی اگه اشتباه نکنم داره باش فایت میده. چه بدشانسی میاره. نیوکاسل هم داره طرف و داره رز میده. نیوکاسل میندازه. نیوکاسل ننداخت گیر کرد. نیوکاسل رو پانچ میزدش. اوتوسان حاجی چه شانسی آورد که طرف گرفت به چیز. اوتوسان چه شانسی آورد که طرف رفت روی اون جامپه و رفت بالا. اگه میمون اونجا اوتوسان رو میزن میچرکون. اکسنت حالا داریم از این طرف. وان اچ پی شده یکی از تیمیتاشون از دست دادن. یه تیم هم پشت داره دنبالش میکنه.
And I tell you what, Kashera might be joining them soon. So TSM were able to pick up 1 kill, which puts them 1 point closer to match point. They're now 3.
مویستو داریم که
managed to get the knock. It is going to be Lufka now going down as Ascend.
یه نفر میزنه اینجا
with 0 points just
از تیم اکسنت نه تمام نشد. یه نفر از اکسنت مونده. مویس ترجمه شده میخواد اکسنت رو بزنه. حتی حاضرشون پوزیشن رو عوض کنه ولی همه تیم‌ها رو نگاه کنید با اینکه طرف یه نفر اصلا ریسک نمیکنه که برن روی یارو. اصلا ریسک نمیکنه برن روی یارو. فقط دارن سعی میکنن که پوزیشن رو هولد کنن. موش داره ساختمون رو هولد میکنه تا جای امکان. اینجا فکر کنم یه تکتیکال میندازه که هولد کرده باشه. طرف اگه بخواد بیاد بالا اینجا مپ هم میبینه طرفو. همین که تکتیکال خالی صدا میده و کلا میتونن بفهمم که کسی پوششون داده. الاینس یکی از مدعی‌ها رو میبینیم که بیرون رینگ داره کرافت میکنه فقط.
situation so then they can get into the next game and try and win this championship. But at the same time, where currently TSM are, there's not many teams around them for them to push because everyone has found themselves in barometer nice and early. What they can do is look for a third
مویس هم داریم.
So TSM kind of playing, you would say, a safer game at the moment. Alliance, we just saw them on their way in there, just double crafting on their way in to make sure that they've got the meds and possibly leveling up the Evo shields without having to be involved in combat themselves. Blackhand and LG Shivas are kind of hovering around antennae, but
مویس فقط داره پوزیشن هولد میکنه. الان خیلی دوست دارم تی اس ام کجاست. الاینس رو داریم که بالا داره روتیت میکنه. تی اس ام همین پایین یه پوزیشن هولد کرده. این رینگ نیست که اینجا افتاده، این روباست. فکر کنم هر موقع که یه تیم رینگ رو اسکن کنه به ما نشون میده رینگ بعدی کجاست. هر تیم فکر کنم رینگ رو اسکن کنه به ما نشون میده رینگ بعدی کجاست. مویستو داریم که داره تیم روبروشو میزنه. تیم روبرو هم خیلی دمیج شده حاجی. یکیشون امکانش بیفته.
Moist Esports though set up in such a strong position for this endgame. 17 squads still remaining with 1 minute and 8 seconds left on zone number 2. No wins on Storm Point for Moist this tournament though, so it's not been as kind as World's Edge, but as long as you can get some kills on the board and try and get closer to that match point.
اگه یه چیزی هم نگاه کنی هیچ همه تیمیتاشون یه فاصله از هم دارن و این فاصله کمک میکنه همین که بتونن چند طرف هولد کنن. همین که اگه مثلا طرف بریزه روی تیمشون یکی از بیرون هست که بیاد کمکشون کنه. میدونی چی میگم؟
and they just explode. They might catch a team off guard, steal all the loot. They also, of course, have the ability to get
یکی همیشه بیرون است که بیاد کمکشون کنه. الان مثلا نگاه کنید دو تا از این تیم پی وی ایکس داخل ساختمونن، یکی هم بیرونه. اینی که بیرونه هم نگاه کنید خیلی اکتیو داره پلی میده، هم بیرون رو داره، هم اون تیمی که پشت سرشونه مواظب اونه که پوش نده به اینا. اوتوسان رو داره میگرده، داره روتیت میکنه. اوتوسان داره میره طرفی که دارک زیرو بو داره. الاینس هم خودش رو رسونده به رینگ و دنبال اینه که پوزیشن رو بگیره. رینگ بعدی هم افتاده جلوشونه. رینگ بعدی الان یه تیکه از مپ رو نشون بدن که تیم‌ها رو ببینم کجاست، خیلی خوب میشه.
So vital to see what buildings are free, what positions they could play for, what third parties they could potentially expect to see as well as we get a look at where that zone is
going. مویستو داریم، اپسی دیستروی.
But Exeter are in a great spot too. Yeah, Pulveric's bang center, but very exposed to potential for grenades and for teams just panicking, arriving with a trident or arriving as they run through the water and just trying to use the bridge as cover, and then Pulveric's might just be damage control. They might just end up taking fire because of that. Here we go. So they need to have a big presence. Now,
اینور هولد کرده نزدیک الاینس. الاینس تصمیم میگیره فرار کنه. یه تیم از اونور داره الاینس هنوز اذیت میکنه و به نظر میرسه که قصد ول کردن الاینس نداره.
But with the shots coming out from Barometer, it just becomes a little bit more risky because one shot in your back, completely changes how that fight is going to end up.
And I don't really blame them. I mean, with the way Alliance have been playing in those isolated fights, they've been unbelievable.
TSM رو داریم این که اینجا رو هولد کرده، دارن لودادشون تقسیم میکنن. فناتیکی که اصلا عملکرد خوبی رو نداشته، این ور داریم که داره روتیت میده.
I think eventually they are going to have to move and they might end up near the likes of TSM, and this is what TSM want. TSM want a team to come through that middle choke, but having a crypto on board for Fnatic means they should avoid any sort of ambush.
Should avoid the ambush. Also could open the door here for Alliance. If Alliance hear this fight take place, then they might come and think about thirding it.
ما چرا مشکل پیدا کردیم اصلا نمیفهمم. الان فکرم اوکی شد.
The zone is going to be pulling even further south here, and Oxygen Esports, who land over at Barometer, they know the zone better than anyone. They are set up for success here.
بلک هاون رو داریم اینور، تیمی که عملکرد خوبی نداشت. این گزارشگره میگن بلک هند، ولی تیمه اصلا جوری نوشته میشه که فکر نکنم اینجوری بلک هند بتونی بخونی. نمیدونم واقعا. زون بعدی هم مشخص شده. زون بعدی جو استورم پوینت میگن همیشه انقدر که کاور کم داره. الان زون اول که بسته شه، حالا کار ندارم یه سری تیم‌ها با هم درگیر میشن، ولی زون دوم دیگه خیلی تیم‌ها باید ما فایت بدن تا به رینگ برسن. فیز رو اینور داریم.
Walk in here, Dan. They're the ones who have got to find a way to get towards zone, and they're the two teams who are inside our top three.
Yeah, TSM have still been waiting, still been hoping someone would arrive, but it's like the same direction that Alliance took. It could mean we'll have an Alliance versus Fnatic fight shortly, but at the moment, FaZe, they're thinking about how they're going to plan to enter the middle of Barometer at the moment, because they're on the southeast side. The circle is going to force them in next to the teams like Blackhand, Pioneers, 100 Thieves and NRG. It is going to be a tough old road to get past.
رو داریم، فناتیک رو داریم که فناتیک به نظر میخواد راش الاینس بده. فناتیک از اونجایی که چیزش کمه، پوینتش کمه، اصلا نمیخواد ریسک کنه. اصلا نمیخواد ریسک کنه. خیلی داره سیف پلی میده فناتیک.
俺しゃがんでる先頭してるでしょ。
リブートセットしに行く俺。左の窓。
今俺木ないよ俺。オッケー今木ない。オッケー。
لایو داره یکم مشکل میخوره ولی الان اوکی میشه. فناتیک داره تا حد امکان سیف پلی آجی.
11秒ね。入ったら上行くわ。
これどっちにも木ないこれ。
いや木ないよ。
一番上取って海田。
一番上いない。相手のライト注意。俺も上行くわ一緒に。
左奥肩割ってるこれ。行こうお前。で俺ら次ビーコンでバレるとしたら。
オッケー。
だからケツ側に集まってケツ側に集まって。
オッケー。この中の方が安全かも。
الانس رو داریم اینور. الانس کم دور میشه از فناتیک، نمیخواد به نظر با هم درگیرشن. دوتا تیم نمیخوان ریسک کنن. حداقل دوتا تیم نمیخوان ریسک کنن.
The listening presented by WD Black, and now you can see that Alliance have been forced to make their move towards zone.
TSM حالا اینور داریم. پشت واضح پشتش باید باشه که الاینس نیاد روش. البته الاینس داره روتیت میکنه میره یه طرف دیگه، ولی خب فناتیک اینجا که داره میره یه تیم بود. اینجا که داره میره یه تیم بود. امکان بله تیم هنوز اینجاست. ممکنه بیان رو فناتیک. شیلداش هم جا گذاشتم برای فناتیک هاجی. فناتیک الان شیل هم داره.
their way into zone. Pioneers on our screen right now. Are they able to hold strong? Pioneers holding, but TSM are also fighting Alliance at the same time. There are so many big fights happening on the map at Storm Point as all these teams are being forced together. Alliance are trying to hold up TSM who keep thinking about it, keep trying to push up, keep trying to get those extra points. Such an awkward angle to fight this fight on the bridge.
همه داره تشریف میشن. به نظر الاینس درگیره اگه اشتباه نکنم. الاینس روتیت میاد میاد نیستن و الان فکر کنم الاینس که جلوی بله الاینس که جلوی TSM.
Alliance have done so well to hold off that push from TSM. They were so close as now Hackis has taken a lot of damage here.
الاینس یکی از تیم‌ها هکس رو از دست میده. هگز رو از دست میده. TSM میزنه هگز رو پاره میکنه به نظر میسه و میخواد فکر نکنم راش بده چون امکان داره که تیم پشت بزنتشون. سعی میکنن که نزدیک شن ولی راش رو اگه بدن از پشت میدن. آره از پشت حالا میدن. میخوان برن راش الاینس بدن و الاینس رو تموم کنن. از اونجا که دیدن الاینس هم هست اینکه بخوام بهش راش بدن. آره الاینس اگه بزنن جاشون توی صدرم چیز میشه اثبات میشه لست از تیم الاینس. بله دیگه فکر نکنم بتونه بزنه. الاینس میزنه حالا یه تیم دیگه TSM رو تموم میکنه. فناتیک TSM رو ترد میکنه و تمام میکنه. TSM دوتا چیز میگیره. فناتیک چطوری تونست اینقدر راحت راش الاینس بده آجی؟ من پشمام ریخته. فناتیک اصلا ول کرده بودن انگار. LG چیفو داریم حالا این طرف که 3 تا کیل زده. LG چیفو داریم. یه نفر دیگه هم دام میکنه و بله تمام میکنه از تیم KCP. تیم KCP فکر همه‌شو مردن. همه از تیم KCP مردن. LG چیف داره این مچ خوب کار میکنه. LG چیف داره این مچ واقعا خوب کار میکنه. دارک زیرو داریم جلوش کن اکسیژنه اگه اشتباه نکنم. یکی رو شیطان کرد آجی. یکی رو شیطان کرد. خواهد تموم کنه عجوری شده اکسیژن رو. انرژی حالا این طرفه. اکسیژن دوتاشون رفتن اون پایین رو گرفتن. انرژی به نظر میشه 2 نفر باشه. الی چیپ داره میره تا سمت اکسیت. بله انرژی یکیشون رو از دست دادن. نیفن رو از دست دادن. اسفید ولی هنوز زنده است. میره که یه لوتی هم بزنه این طرف.
The other squads, of course, LG Chivas and Exet, you can see on your screen, they've got to arrive from the northern side. It's going to be the most difficult situation for those two squads, because not only have they got to fight each other, but then they're going to get griefed by Oxygen and NRG, and then eventually Dark Zero. Rolling Thunder coming down, you can see that on the right-hand side of your screen. LG
انرژی پوزیشن رو هولد کرده. اکسیژن اون تیمی که با 3 نفر مرد حتما اکسیژن نبوده، چون اکسیژن 3 نفرشون زنده ان. اینور اکسیت رو داریم. LG اکسیت رو هولد کرده. اکسیت باید به سمت رینگ و حرکت میکنه، یه دونه اولت میکنه. حالا LG داره بک میده که جلو اکسیت رو بگیره، نتونه اکسیت به رینگ برسه. اکسیت پوزیشن خیلی بده. انرژی به نظر من اومده رو اکسیت رو بگیره.
But then when you force it, when you are able to isolate it, then you have to dive on it, because otherwise you're just going to get thirded too easily. Digi's going to be important here for fun. Nocturnal sends in the smokes. LG are forced out their little hidey hole up into the thinner air above them. The Q is going to be good, and it gets them safe, and now they get that opening.
اکسیت میره که LG رو تموم کنه. ببینیم میتونه LG تموم کنه. 2-2. یکیشون تو رینگ گیر کرده. اکسیت به نظر انرژی یکی رو میزنه. اکسیت LG چی فکرم تموم شد. اکسیت هم تموم شد. فقط اکسیژن و دارک زیرو انرژی موندن که انرژی هم تموم بشه. فقط فایت بین دارک زیرو و اکسیژنه که هر دو تا تیم هم فولن. هر دو تا تیم هم فولن. هم انرژی فول هم دارک زیرو. باید دید که کدومشو برنده نمیشه دیگه.
Too much risk here. Also, if Dark Zero have been doing their math, they know they're on match point. They can play this one a little bit more fearless, but a win going into the next map would do wonders for their confidence. At the moment, it's ring around of roses from these Dark Veils. Where are you going to go? Is he going to be left or right?
اکسیژن جلوشونه. دارک زیرو حداقل هایگراند رو داره، ولی رینگ به نظر میاد طرف اکسیژن باشه. یه زبدر توسط اولتای دوتا چیز زده چه دارک زیرو میبره که اکسیژن تموم کنه. 2-1. اکسیژن به نظر نمیرسه شانسی داشته باشه. میره پشت شیلدای یارش کاور بگیره، پشت شیل بازی کنه. اکسیژن دیگه مرده. نفر بعدیش هم داره شیلدشو فول میکنه که بیاد و تمومش کنه. بله دارک زیرو یه وینو میگیره و فاصلهشو باز هم فاصلهشو با تی اس ام کمتر میکنه. شاید حتی رفته باشه اول. نمیدونم، شاید آره رفته باشه اول. 12 تا پوینت از این ور گرفته. 4-5 تا کیل هم حداقل 5 تا کیل زده. حالا دقیقا ندیدم چند تا کیل زده. حداقل 5 تا کیل زده و 17 تا پوینت داره. 17 تا پوینت داره.
Unbelievable composure from Dark Zero in those final moments, though. Really smart for them, making sure that they were the ones who just kept that last goal available. The Black Hole's a difference maker because Oxygen is just trapped. They have to take their attention.
فکر کنم دارک زیرو رفته باشه اول. با این مچی که پلی داریم احتمال اینکه رفته باشه اول زیاده، خیلی زیاده.
And it is so much nicer if they had that knowledge of the fact they were on match point already. They can be a little bit more loose, a little bit more free with their push. As for Oxygen Esports, still an incredible performance. They're now on 30 points, so they are third place in the moment, 20 off of match point. And it was a circle they had to get some points from. It was pulling towards them. It came to barometer. They predicted the pull away, and they were rewarded for it. But for Dark Zero, They committed to that western side of the zone so long ago, and as soon as they were able to take down Optic Gaming, they owned that side of the map. And from that point, it was just about being patient and allowing everyone to come to that.
Amazing stuff from Dark Zero. We now have 2 teams on match point, and like you say, it's probably the 2 teams who historically have been picking up those trophies since Apex Legends competitive play started. TSM and Dark Zero now have a chance in this next game, Dan, to lift that trophy, which is just over the balcony in front of us there.
And it is going to be Storm Point again as well, and this is probably good news for TSM because if you remember what happened in Split 1 playoffs, it was Storm Point where they won it. It has been Storm Point where they had a conversion rate throughout the online season.
TSM داخل استورم پوینت زیاد خوب کار نمیکنه.
اشتباه نکنه. TSM here in this next match.
Really impressive stuff from Dark Zero in that Storm Point game, and I got to say as well, TSM made a very smart decision to push onto Alliance. I would say that not from reps is the
یه تصمیمی که گرفتن برای اینکه الاینس پوش بدن اشتباه بود.
Completely changed the context of a game of Apex Legends. That got them that opening, then they were able to convert, they get those kills, they hit match point, and now we have 2 teams who can go and win it. For now though, from the Casters booth, that's going to do us. We're going to set up for our next game by sending it down to Rainday on the desk.
Thank you so much, Onset and Gaskin. Great job on the cast. We are here with some analysis on the performances that we have seen so far after 3. Of course, presented by PlayStation Tournaments. My name is Randy. I'm here with Glitter, Sabs, Spider Tip, and Dia. I want to break down quickly though that
درباره این داره صحبت می‌کنه پلی‌استیشن اسپانسرش رو شده فکر کنم چون پلی‌استیشن ویدی بلک و یه دونه شرکت مونستر اسپانسر مسابقات اپکس لجندز که $1 میلیون جایزه شد.
Glitter, Tiff, Dia, I'm going to go with you in a line. Tiff, maybe you kick this off. Talk us through this one.
Look, it was so impressive and I love the utilization of the
آخرین
dark veils to
لحظات
try and
مچ قبلی رو نشون میده
a little bit
چه
more time to
اتفاقاتی
heal that
افتاد.
fully before they had to approach Dark Zero on the high ground, but Zainu with the 30-30 was able to really apply so much pressure in an anchored position, but when he had to act on it, he did well.
We've seen a similar circle to this before, even when TSM was able to walk away with the win in the group stages, and controlling high ground as Dark Zero did is really important. However, importantly, it's also not the first time that we've seen Oxygen play things out from the low ground. They've done this every time that the zone goes over.
Oxygen میگه لو گراند بود. دارک زیرو داره میتونه تونست سریع بپره روشون و تمومشون کنه. یا اگه این تکتیکال شده این طرف زودتر مینداخت.
The fact that Oxygen played from this low ground suggests to me that their journey was more about
طرف اینو بزنه شده نگاه کنید اصلا دارک زیرو عجله نکرد صبر کرد که تیممیتش شیلدشو پر کنه بعد بپره روش. اصلا برای زدن طرف مقابلش عجله نکرد و در صورتی که میتونست بپره حتی زودتر بزنش. 2000 تا 5 8 9 تا کیل گرفتن گاهی میشه 21 و دارک زیرو قطعا اومده اول. تی اس ام الان اومده تو رتبه دوم قرار گرفته. مجموع 4000 دمیج همین دوباره زدن.
I think the thing that we need to pay attention to now, you guys have mentioned it quite a few times, going into this next match, we have 2 of the best land specialist squads on a hot streak right now. Dark Zero are coming through with those 9 kills. OXG putting themselves in a really solid spot, starting to get those points aboard for quite a few
اکسیژن 14 تا گرفت، انرژی 12 تا گرفت، اکسید هم 12 تا گرفت، ال جی هم 12 تا گرفت، 3 تا 5 منظور 12 تا هرکدوم گرفتن. تی اس ام مثلا جز 10 تا تیم هم نشده ولی فکر کنم 1-2 تا تیم زده، 1-2 تا کیل زده باشه. تی اس ام باید حواسش رو جمع کنه چون دارک زیرو این بچه دیگه خیلی با قدرت راه ظاهر شد. اون پوشی که دادن که الاینس بزنن براشون گرونش تموم شده. تی اس ام بله تی اس ام 5 تا پوینت تونسته بزنه در مورد 33 تا پوینت داره. الاینس و یکی زده. الاینس کنه حتی از رتبه سومی رفت از دست داد. گیم اینجوریه که به نظرم تو مچ آخر هیچی معلوم نیست. واقعا تو مچ آخر حداقل قهرمان معلوم نیست.
point right now, I want to score as many points as possible because the moment this ends, I want to make sure I am thrusting myself up into that prize money, that's for sure.
And of course, the other thing that you've got to look out for, and Glitter, you and I were talking about this a bit more in the green room as well, but it's the importance of rotations. In previous times in Apex, we would look at teams on match point and go, maybe you want to commit to a fight with them right off the drop. And in this particular case, Apex Legends continue to evolve. That's not so much the case, but if you can prepare yourself knowing now where teams are dropping, all these teams should have access to it just as equally.
Sure.
Knowing where a team is coming from and being able to set up to upset them based on that is really powerful, and they can be done.
Overall match standings after 3, 2 teams on match point. That is TSM and Dark Zero. Sabs, thoughts on the teams that are standing out to you? It's kind of hard to pick any of those two, but we mentioned APAC South to start this off. We also mentioned that there could be APAC North team that actually gets this win. Are you seeing anything promising from our APAC squads yet, or is it too early to tell?
You know, remember yesterday, Riddle was going amazing. They were literally running through everybody, and I think that's what they're gonna do soon. They just warm me up.
Yukio almost had that clutch in Armory. That was a beautiful play, but it didn't end up working out for him, unfortunately. Those have been some phenomenal moments, but guess what? We mentioned some phenomenal players, some phenomenal teams. You now have a chance to get into the action and have your say heard with our Monster Energy MVP. Whether you're in the building right now in the Copper Box or you're watching online, use hashtag and the name of the player that you think has had the most outstanding performance. If you do so, you'll have a chance to vote. Those will be tallied at the end, and we'll have a special little moment with our Monster Energy MVP. Of course, this is on Twitter, on Twitch. Anywhere use this hashtag. Great stuff that we've got going on, and obviously, when it comes to monster performances, there's lots to choose from.
یه سری از تما یا دیگه از برند
Is it Big E or is it Little E, right? Because Verbals has just completely leveled up. They switched his role, and just watching the performance and how it has elevated TSM, it's been really game-changing, allowing reps to step into another full form also.
I mean, even thinking back to that last zone that we saw the last time TSM was there, it's Verhulst that turned everything around for them. This player's incredible, and there's nothing more to say.
All right, well, we all know things are happening here live in London, but something that's happening tomorrow that you definitely need to pay attention to. It's one of my favorite things in the Apex Legends universe is the expansion of the stories of the Outlands. This one features Loba, Maggie, and Lifeline, and it's called Kill Code. Part 1. I don't know how many parts there are, but I'm excited that there are maybe more than just this one. Here's a little bit of
ویدیوهایی که جدید آپلود کردم اونو گذاشتم. دارم تبلیغش میکنم. اوه این تیزر لانچ تریلر سیزن بعد فکر کنم یکی از تیزراشه. من خودم اینو ندیدم. واو لایفلاین و کیل کودی اینجاست که لوبا میره کودی که واسه کشتن روناتا رو پیدا میکنه رونات رو میکشه که سیزن بعد رونات ریبورد نداشته باشه
coming up for champs. That's right, the culmination of a year of competitive play in the ALGS, but we'll give it to you after gameplay. So make sure to stick around and head over here on this stream to make sure you get that info at the end. All right, we're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, we continue with the best Sunday in esports. That's our match point finals. Don't go anywhere.
جلتر لود شده این جلتر چی کار میکنم
WD Black, the official storage partner of the Apex Legends Global Series.
دوباره داره تبلیغ میکنه که بریم برای مچ بعدی.
This is where dreams are made. Here we are in the Copper Box Arena. Few games down, maybe one more to go. We're gonna have to see. Currently, Dark Zero and TSM are sitting at match point, and we're moving on to game number 4 on store points.
I think that the point Tiff made on the desk was really good there, Vicky. Other teams, they need to be clocking up those points regardless, because if one of those powerhouses, Dark Zero or TSM, can close it out here, that's how the series standings will be. You get paid out depending on where you end up, right? So, I mean, I want more Apex, but these guys may just want to finish it off right here and right now.
Hey, the difference between first and second place may as well be more than a $100,000 money match. That's what's on the line right here. And you talk about the distance between where TSM is and Oxygen right now sitting in third. It's a huge point difference. TSM sitting with 51 points. Oxygen sitting with 30 points. Everybody else right behind Oxygen. And it's crazy because in a game where there's some inconsistencies in a battle royale, the top teams do be pretty consistent.
It's been insane, honestly. The fact that these guys have been performing at this level and just not dropping the beat. I mean, Dark Zero, they were a little lower down if we're talking about winners bracket yesterday, but how is it? How is it that Zero just always shows up when it counts? 2 championships, just came off winning NA, the regional finals, and you've got to remember, this is possibly the strongest that NA has ever looked as well, right? They have 9 teams in this final lobby, the most representation they've ever had.
It's crazy. The NA is really coming out, but you saw the signs in the crowd. Apex South, Moist, they also need to come out. I know Genome in the back was talking about Moist, how excited it would be to see them pop off. I know he's also a big fan of Dark Zero out here too, but it's about seeing those consistencies come alive in these games.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're both very exciting teams, honestly. The fraggers they have to surround those phenomenal IGLs. It's the same story for both teams, but it is for TSM as well.
انرژی رو داریم.
While we get ready.
انرژی که باز اومده بود تا حداقل این بار بتونه قهرمان شه، ولی تا الان که نتونست. 51 57 51 57 رقابت یه جورای فقط بین TSM و دارک زیرو شده. باید TSM و دارک زیرو هر دوتاشون توی این مچ حداقل اولاش بمیرن، بقیه تیما بدونن یه چند کیل بزنن بیان بالا، وگرنه اگه بخواین یه دونه این تیما باز توی این مپ بزنن که دیگه هیچی.
Storm Point, we've already seen one game. There was a late contest in it last time, Vicky, right? We saw over at being some teams running into each other. A little bit of a weird one with the teams sort of coming together over at the
اینجوری کردن که 2 تا مچ ورزج بود، 2 تا مچ استون پوینت، دوباره یه ورزج و دوباره استون پوینت، اینجوری چیزی می‌کنن.
Always wondering about that. Is it close enough to Lightning Rod? Do they have to worry about the gravity cannons? Is one of the biggest points, honestly, when you're thinking about the dropship halving over here on Storm Point.
Crowd getting excited now. Following through for our fourth game here. Second game on Storm Point. We've already seen wins from TSM, FC Destroy, and Dark Zero. Can they do it again? Taking a look at what we may see from early game action after what we already saw in the Armory last game. So chaotic to see how that was put down between Geo, perhaps Riddle Order here. Command Center also being the hot zone here for a lot of these squads. Moist is going to be able to definitely benefit off of that with some great loot, depending on where this circle is going to be going.
Yeah, I'll have to see where it does. Obviously, it should be a good one for them. But we've got Riddle and Gumbare once again. They're going into
اوتوسان داریم دوباره اینور لند کرده داره لوت میکنه.
There's a couple of bins there. Often has very good high-level armor in it. You can see early shots, and Riddle take the more traditional bean start.
And being able to try it huge here for the future rotation that we're going to be able to see from that team. Riddle order again, splitting up that loot. Also nice to know that Mill has a lot of information between the survey beacon and the ring console for Dark Zero to benefit from. And we are moving down south out here towards Shipfall, so KCP
فقط لوت
having the
میکنن
circle
نمیخوان که
advantage
اصلا
in
با
their
درگیرشن ریسک کنن.
It's definitely going to be a shipfall zone. It has swung as southerly as it possibly can here. We might even get one of those fun ones. Well, I call it fun. The players have a few words to say about that. But where it ends, like well out near the destroyed ship in the water, tridents become very important at this point because you need that cover to take it. Now, it looks like Riddle have managed to get into the armory this time. Will Geo wait for them on the outside? Will they try something a little bit different this time? You can see they've got the trident, so if they wanted to, they could just make that quick rotation all the way down south.
We get to see the side-by-side with Geo already rotating with their trident too. Get some extra
دیگه
damage onto the flyer. That evil shield if you can.
I also like
نیوکاسل انداخته بود روی
Gibby shield there.
Oh right, yeah, it's a windshield.
Yeah,
It's a windshield. Let's see who's going to be
Machine.
roadkill for Geo and Dark Zero on the other side as well, already rotating with their own trident. You mentioned it perfectly. Looking at where this next circle is going to be, which Dark Zero already has the information for, they could utilize that trident to not only get there faster, but to use it as some makeshift cover, like you mentioned, in case it does go out into the open. Sometimes these early rotates could be very detrimental.
This kind of a circle, by the way, if it does go all the way into that open water, could be fantastic.
دارک زیرو داریم که از این ورد هنوز داره روتیت میده.
As a quick reminder of who's playing Newcastle here on Stormpoint, we've got Ascend, we've got FC Destroy, Gambare Otosan, and we also have, no actually that's it. So we've got what, 3 teams there on the Newcastle, I believe. So those guys are going to be able to set up that cover. It's not quite permanent, but it will put them in good stead.
Definitely something that Ascend needs here if it works into their team composition. Currently sitting in last place as we take a look at Dark Zero, take it to the skies. They are getting shot at from the back because it really highlights how many teams have made their way into the south side of Shipfall.
Now, something that Dia was saying on the desk is very important here, right? Teams at this level know the rotations of the other teams. They should be essentially counting how many teams come in. Okay, 16 coming in. It should be Dark Zero. We know, what spots they like to play. We know how long it's going to take them to make this sort of a rotation. And if teams are that switched on and they identify that correctly, they should be putting a little more stock in aggression towards TSM and towards Dark Zero, because otherwise we're going to be ending here in Game 4, Vicky.
Oh, we got to see how this plays out. It's aside from the rotations too, it's also the team comp. Even though we've been seeing this comp that Dark Zero is running pretty frequently, so many of these other squads taking their
اتصالمون یه لحظه ضعیف شد ولی الان اوکی میشه.
gold light mag here for Alliance to work with. But while they do defeat the Prowlers, they're going to be able to boost up their Evo Shield. This is a team that is going to be taking some time to rotate into that next circle as they do land in Lightning Rod, going right through Thunder Watch, looking on the other side, Fnatic also. That's why you're seeing so many teams with the Trident.
Doesn't bother them at all, though, does it? I mean, Alliance, that's why they land Lightning Rod. They like to play edge. They want to craft up, play that PvE game first, because as we saw, the smart loot from the Prowlers is fantastic for getting them well stocked.
فناتیک رو اینور داریم که داره روتیت میکنه.
Finally run into other
یه لحظه من اینجا نگاه کنم.
teams. Black Hand might be in the way of Alliance. We'll have to see how they play this one out over at Launchpad, considering they had such a rough start with those contests over at Landslide.
خب آپتی گیمینگ رو اینور داریم. این مچ همه تیم‌ها دارن سیف فلنگ میدن. هیچ تیمی نمیخواد ریسک کنه. هیچ تیمی نمیخواد ریسک کنه همچنان. من سعی میکنن که چیز کنه. یه تیم بالاخره داخل فایت میره. اپتیکو داریم اینجا. نمیدونم داخل اون تیم دقیقا توی فایت رفته. این تیم میخواد فرار کنه. ببینیم میتونه فرار کنه. واو، طرف برگردون شیلدو که نخورن. چه آیکیوی داره یارو، واقعا حرکتش قشنگ پچمام ریخته. چه حرکتی زد که نخورن. واقعا حرکتش بی‌نظیر بود.
Even at the pro level. Damn, dude, these guys gotta learn something from the APAC North, man. Flips the 180, instantly puts the
وال
mobile
جامپی
shield
که
down.
میزنه و انرژی رو داریم که یه جورایی دیگه ناامید شده. اینور اکسید رو داریم.
Now taking a look at Exen, over to the north side, exiting out of Antenna. So many of these teams, TSM, Blackhand, Ascend, rotating out of these POIs. Exen, who are holding that choke point, could find themselves in a sandwich situation here. They have some natural cover right next to the gravity cannon. You can already see the charge rifle shot from the distance. Ascend coming in from the skyward dive. Gonna be able to also get the passive scan from the Valkyrie. Finding themselves a nice building which works into this team composition with the Watson and Newcastle.
Not too bad at all. If they can find a couple of safe spots to put the Jenny down. That said, I think the ring will continue to pull further south, so Ascend, noting that, will continue on their merry way. You can see Pulverex lying in wait, and then there's some teams all the way out in the zone here, and Sanote K's. That's going to be Geo on the other side of 5 Evas there, and Riddle Order, they've heard some shots as well, and they're looking.
Geo, by the way, have gone back around, probably to still not give up the information of the ring console since they have the Trident. What's important there was that that's what we saw the priority from the very beginning. Once we started this game, was the priority on the Trident, so that way they could be able to get that information, even if they don't want to engage in a fight. Fire Beavers playing outside the circle, like you mentioned, facing off against Riddle Order. The reason why neither Fire Beavers or Geo could get that Cenote Cave ring console if they haven't already is because Riddle Order has now made an appearance just in case they could push in for a third party.
Exet making some struggles so far in this tournament. It's
اکست رو داریم اینور.
been a little bit up and down. They show, you know, some
نتمون دوباره به مشکل خورده، بریم بکنم بدونم چی. خب من دیگه عقلم به اوکی شد، چون اوکی نمیشه. یه لحظه بذارید من اینجا
signs of life to get back into this final day, but now
اوکی شد ولی هنوز لگ داره.
11, 17 points. They want to turn it around.
ریفرش بدیم. ده 80. خب مثل این که اوکیه.
25 a bullet is kind of scary to play with. TSM not scared of the zone though, in the same vicinity. Oh,
quick. TSM though did recognize the third party coming in from Riddle Order. That's why they're backing away in time. But Optic Gaming still have the health advantage that they're chasing right behind them. Gets the crack.
And you saw they were so low on health. All of them are probably going to have to medkit right now. Meanwhile, Optic much better off at making the move up and getting good positions.
They got the further place ahead in terms of the
Optic
rotation. Planning ahead, trying to cut them off. Drop though, and not get to follow up onto Hal. Verhos retaliates immediately to Noctu, overextended ever so slightly, but they can't let them reset.
No, they can't. But even if they just get one member, and let's say they can't get that back up, that would much diminish TSM's chances of finishing the game off
یه نفرشون زده. ریپسو نه یک TSM واقعا اوضاعش خرابه اینجوری نظر میرسه و تموم کرد میکنه TSM تموم. بله TSM تموم میشه. آپتیک TSM رو تموم کرد. حالا دارک زیرو اگه این مچ خوب بزنه بیشترین شانس دارک زیرو برای قهرمانی خواهد داشت.
Take away the fastest match point finals victory ever at a play Apex LAN.
Can you imagine?
دارک زیرو حالا اگه این مچ خوب بزنه دارک زیرو احتمالی زیاد قهرمان خواهد بود.
If it was Dark Zero, TSM, one of our squads in match point, not in the lobby anymore. One left here, allowing maybe more squads to get right there too. Black Hand in a fight. Easy Flash gets deleted. Strafing Flame with the Nemesis and the car in his hand, gets the crack immediately afterwards, gets pinged from afar. You see the immediate pings too, knowing that he's literally one, gets the knock to try to tie that out. It is Xset putting up the catwall.
Yeah, Pulverex also an issue here if these teams can't stick behind this cover well enough. Will allow Xset another life. You can see Pulverex is just getting sent upon now by Blackhand. They take over the fortifications that they've built up.
Moist being able to help clean that up in that fight too from a distance. Xset resetting with the catwall in front of them. They see the exhibit over to their side, knowing that they're probably going to rotate off that little lip. Look who is still alive from Blackhand. Can he get the res is the question. It looks like he's going to go for it.
Yeah, I think they're out of earshot, honestly, so Xset probably won't hear that sound cue to let them know someone's rezzing, someone can come in here and maybe take advantage of that. Or maybe not. Here we go. Smoke behind, just so no one else can grief Xset too hard in this one. It should be an easy 2v3 with Boogie down.
Especially with the Sear attack landing at this point. You're going to be slowed for a little bit. They're looking to finish it off. That one last member of Black Hand running away with Sykes right behind him. Black Hand getting eliminated, and look who picked up that AP. Zero says, thank you very much. Energy looking like they're in trouble. Can Gil
ببین
do it
میتونه
again?
انرژی بزنه یا نه.
The black
واو
hole, literally
واو
one playing right behind them. You count
واو
the barrier.
انرژی دد
And it
میشه.
doesn't look like they could stay alive.
اوتوسان تونست انرژی رو بزنه.
Are able to take energy
حرف
out.
شده. به نظر میرسه که میخواد تکتیکال کنه اوتوسان و بگیره یارشو. اینور فناتیک رو داریم، یکی از یاراش میمیره، یکی دیگهشون هم وضعیتش خوب نیست ولی همچنان زنده است. فناتیک هم تمام میشه. فناتیک هم تمام میشه. فناتیک تموم میشه و با یه چهره غمناک به در نگاه میکنه، دری که آه میکشد. دارک زیرو رو داریم، کسی که خیز برداشته دوباره قهرمان شد. TSM که این مچ هم دد شده. دارک زیرو الان بیشترین شانس برای قهرمانی داره. کافیه که فقط این مچ تا تاپ 4-5 هم بیاد، کیل هم اونقدر نزنه، باز وضعیت داره TSM خیلی بهتره و حتی میتونه کاپو ببره خونش. دارک زیرو دوباره خیلی خوب داره پلی میده. یکیشون رو دد کردن، ناگیشونو. یه تیم اکسنت رو تموم کردن. دارک زیرو 6 تا کیل این مچ زده. دارک زیرو 6 تا کیل زده، 65 تا پوینت داره. فاصلش همین الان با TSM حدود 14 تا پوینته که توی این سطح واقعا کم نیست. 14 تا پوینت. یکی دیگر هم دان کرده. نیشش میکنه.
I'm not picking you up late. I got him.
یکی دیگر هم میزنن. کلیدر یکی از اعضای تیم داکسی رو با اینکه واقعا پوزیشنش بد از 10 طرف دارن میخورن ولی تونستن تا الان 67 تا پوینت رو بگیرن. دارن میرن واسه گرفتن رینگ. ببینیم موفق میشن. رینگ داره میاد رینگ 3 اگه دست اشتباه نکنم. امیدوارم که بتونم به رینگ برسم. رینگ 4 اگه میموندن دو رینگ میمردن. چه شانسی آوردن تونستن بیان این پوزیشن رو بگیرن. داکسی رو دیگه واقعا بیشترین شانس رو میتونم بگم برای قهرمانی داره. داکسی رو واقعا بیشترین شانس رو برای قهرمانی داره. هنوز زنده است. تاپ 6 پیش اومده. 69 تا پوینت حالا گرفته. یکی رو کراک کرده. اولت میشه روشون. اولت سریع میزنن. یکی آرکستر هم افتاده بغلشون ولی مشکلی ندارم. من نمیدونم چطوری اون تیم داره پوش میده به داکسی رو و هیچ کس اونا رو نمیزنه. واقعا عجیبه برام. همه گرفتن رو داکسی رو. همه گرفتن رو داکسی رو. 69 تا پوینت داره توی این مچه و بعدش اکسیژن داکسی رو فقط باید زنده بمونه. فقط باید زنده بمونه که هنوزم زنده است. الان میتونه حتی هیل کنه بعد یارش هم بگیره به نظرم ولی راشش دارن میدن. چه لیزری کرد حاجی. چه لیزری کرد. چه لیزری کرد. خیلی خوب پلی داد ولی نتونست بزنه. فیز رو داریم اینور. فیز داکسی رو تموم کرد ولی خودش هم تموم شد و الاینس رو اینجا داریم. الاینسی که تاپ 4 و خیز برداشته که بیاد جای حداقل TSM رو بتونه بگیره. اکسیژن هم زنده است که تاپ 3. اکسیژن اصلا باورم نمیشه که اکسیژن رو داریم تاپ 3 میبینیم حاجی. اکسیژن چطوری تاپ تیریه؟ اکسیژن چطوری تاپ تیریه؟ الاینس این برای هولد کرده. الاینس به نسبت جای خوبی داره. اکسیژن الان داره راش KCP میده. ببینید میتونه KCP رو بزنه. KCP تیم خوبیه ولی توی فینال اصلا عملکرد خوبی تا اینجا کار نداشته. آرکستر بارون کردن اکسیژن رو. اکسیژن دو تاشون دیت شده. الاینس حالا میرسه که ترد کنه ولی اصلا ترد نمیشه گفت ترده چون واقعا KCPه که دست بالا رو داره. KCP الاینس یکی رو میشوره از الاینس رو. الان داره به نفع اکسیژن میشه چون الاینس اگه بمیره KCP تاپ تور رو بگیره یه پوینت اضافه میگیره. بله KCP لکست اکسیژن و بله KCP وین میکنه و از اون ور اکسیژن که تاپ تور رو واسه خودش نگه میداره. KCP KCP سر پا نمیشناسه حاجی تیم KCP. همین مونده دور افتخار بزنن. KCP یه پوزیشنی رو گرفته بود که بیچون و چرا بهترین پوزیشن بود. هم اکسیژن بهشون راش دادن نتونستن بزننشون. هم الاینس اومد که اکسیژن KCP رو بزنه باز نتونست. و اینجوری هست که KCP بیچون و چرا صد نشسته. اینجاست که میگن بیکوینه طرف عروسیه. باورم نمیشه. باورم نمیشه.
because they want more Apex, and I'm not surprised. It's phenomenal play here we've seen from so many teams today.
چیکار داره میکنه؟
He did play that pretty well at the start. You know, we saw them ranging out, right, taking out teams left and right, and I think that was a really important decision early on, Vicky, because with how open that final circle was, the more teams that get stuck into it, the more chaos there is, the less chance you've got of playing that out as you want. I mean, teams will just have to push you because they've got nowhere else to go. So I think it was really good of Zero to lock in.
میریم واسه دوتا مچ پایانی و ببینیم قهرمان کیه بالاخره. آیا TSM میتونه بیاد دارک زیرو رو از صدر بکشه پایین یا نه؟ این دارک زیرویه که برای بار سوم کاپو میبره خونش. واقعا چی نمیدونم. اگه دقت کنید یه جوری تک بودی شده کیم اپکس. هر بار مسابقات یا دارک زیروه که میبره یا TSM که میبره. الان هم که الان باز TSM دومه و دارک زیرو اوله. دارک زیرو ولی پوینتش واقعا نسبت به TSM خیلی بیشتره. شانس دارک زیرو واسه برد خیلی بیشتر از TSM.
I thought Alliance was in a good position, but we hadn't seen that sort of high ground shot yet, and maybe they were just waiting for the gravity lift. It seemed like it could have been an easy third party, but unfortunately KCP had just done too much damage to Oxygen, and then were able to turn back and focus their attention as soon as Alliance did lift up to try and contest.
چه پوزیشنی هولد کرده بود واقعا KCP. چه پوزیشنی، هم اکسیژن اومد راشش بده که بزنش نتونست، هم اکسیژن اومد راشش بده که بزنش نتونست، هم الاینس پایین اگه میموند حاجی، پایین اگه میموند میتونست گیمو ببره. اشتباه کرد که ریسک کرد الاینس رو پوش داد. فکر کردن که داره با اکسیژن فایت میده و دمیج شده اومد که راش بده، وگرنه بعید میدونم که میومد برای
As you said, they played from their POI, right, so it didn't have to be a kill-heavy game from them, but they did pick up 9 in the end, and 5 of those went to this man right here. 1,420 damage, plays Catalyst, and, well, he's pretty happy right now. That's all we need to say.
I mean, you saw him. He even threw himself on the floor out here. He is completely locked in. Taking that dub, KCP is one of those squads where once they get the ball rolling, they are such a scary team to deal with when it comes to confidence and momentum. Looking at the results after that game for KCP, take the dub with 19 games today. We not only see them get second place, but they're also able to secure it with 3 KP. These two teams up here are so close to match point. Don't be surprised if we see it in the following game.
Dark Zero pick up 9 kills. I mean, this series would have to go on very long for them not to get a minimum of second place, right? They are just far ahead of the pack right now, and a lot of that has come off that decisive calling by Zero, and they've just picked up so many kills every single game.
It's crazy to see, not only with them sitting at match point, but also securing so much KP, even in a game where they are. Second page right here, we're still seeing Ascend struggling a little bit, even though they were able to secure a nice spot with the Newcastle. But then we saw what happened with Dark Zero finding the opportunity to not only overtake that, but to secure that extra loot, all the way down to even Optic Gaming.
Yeah, but TSM in 18th, an uncharacteristic mistake from them, losing that early 3v3.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, I wanted to see in total the series results of what we have in our hands. We know already the two teams that are currently sitting at match point. DZ, in these 4 games alone, getting 70 points. Gross. They got the dub, they got in the KP, but look at the gap that we are seeing. Even TSM holding 52 points after an insane first game, holding Godspot, getting a lot of KP themselves. It's crazy to see the disparity between these two teams that are sitting at match point. And then from there, from the rest of the lobby.
I mean, Vicky, they're averaging more than 15 points a game. Most teams, most elite teams over the season, over a season will average about 9 to 10 points on their best map. 15 points in the hardest lobby Apex Legends has ever seen is a monumental achievement.
To put into perspective, Zero in total has gotten 16 kills. Jen Burden has gotten 12, and Zainu has gotten 11. These fraggers are absolutely terrifying to face off against in a lobby, but they have to take the dub in the game to secure that victory today in the playoffs. That was game number 4, our final game on Storm Point. We are moving on to World's Edge, and that's going to be on the other side of this break. You don't want to miss this.
Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the Apex Legends Global Series.
WD Black, the official storage partner of the Apex Legends Global Series. Make some noise, everybody. We have 2 teams sitting on match points.
I can see so many TSM flags in the crowd. They could take it this game. DZ are looking phenomenal. So many jerseys I saw supporting them. 2 of our best team, 2 of our crowd favorites. It's going to be a big day here, and 4 games in, Vicky.
So many more hopefully to go as we make the transition into World's Edge outside of Storm Point. The hype has not died down. TSM fans in the crowd are roaring. DZ is looking to make some waves, and they got Oxygen and Pioneers right behind them. Moving on to World's Edge, we saw the contention from the very beginning, game number 1 against TSM, followed by FC Destroy coming in to take game number 2.
So of course we are swapping back and forth between the maps every 2 games. Good on one, not good on another. I mean, the teams who are winning, they tend to be pretty good at all of them. But that said, I mean, you know, it changes a lot for some of these teams. TSM, of course, they're very happy to be home on Siphon here. You saw a little bit of trouble there in that last game, going out in 18th. DZ, they've worked very hard throughout this entire event and the scrims for months beforehand to secure Harvester to enable their playstyle.
And seeing, let's be honest here, Gino, seeing how many circles that have pulled south of World's Edge has just been insane, and that will benefit the likes of TSM, Dark Zero on their rotation. I was wondering originally if we are going to still see the contention here in Lansan, and it looks like we are. Mozambique in hand, and it looks like Black Hand already have the advantage. Oh my goodness. The PK, Gambare, they heard me taking onto the heavens here on the platform. You can't get anywhere though. The wasn't big enough to do enough damage to get that knock.
Is high ground enough? We're going to try and get the res. They hear this though and they push in immediately. Headshot with the Mozambique, and Blackhand get one back on them.
Gambare, you've taken it back to the lobby. Thanks very much.
Blackhand میزنه آجی.
This fight, beautiful here as they need it. They're currently sitting in 19th, Gino.
Yeah, now Blackhand, they were talking about how they had some bad luck, basically, with the bins, opening them at the start, not getting any weapons with those. So this time, it seems like luck is on their side. I'm sure they'll tell you it's skill, but I can tell you it's probably a combination of both. 2-1 to GO in this context now, but finally Blackhand get to enact their
Blackhand رو داریم که میزنه. نمیدونم دقیقا کدوم تیم رو زد که لازم نبودم.
I just love how, you know, we had so many people talking about these south zones, and someone backstage has just flipped the switch, and we're going north again.
Raven's got too much information apparently already. Now we've changed things up a lot. Moving all the way up north is going to benefit Riddle Order, as you can see that
فایر بریفز داریم وسط مپ. هیزه که در رینگو گرفته. رایلی اوردر هم رینگو گرفته. فاربریکس رو داریم اوردر رینگو گرفته. استاندر تیوز هم امکان داره دوباره بیاد و با اکسی درگیر شه. فناتیک رو داریم که داره از این گوشه دیواره حرکت میکنه به سمت رینگ. فناتیک داره میره به سمت هاندر تیوز و اکسیت.
Give them enough space to get past a team like Fire Beavers who will want to take a fight.
ویکس میاد درگیره.
Position that Pulverex is holding in. An insane rotation, by the way, after they got that information, wasting no time.
اینور فایر بریوز داریم که درگیر شده حالا. با دارک زیرو هم مثل اینکه درگیر فایر بریوز. فایر بیورز ببینیم میتونه دارک زیرو ببینید بزنه یا نه.
Gets away though, and DZ will continue their rotation, so they escape any further damage from now.
دارک زیرو مثل اینکه با فایر بریوز فایت نمیده و پوزیشنش رو عوض میکنه. 70 پوینت داره. بیچون و چرا توی 100 نشسته و فقط به نظر میرسه که میخواد پلیسمنت بگیره. نیازی به فایت دادن نداره دارک زیرو. مچ سوم که نه مچ چهارم واقعا نیاز داشت که چنین کاری رو بکنه که جاشو اوکی کنه، ولی الان دیگه جاش اوکیه و نیازی به فایت نداره.
To hit the survey beacons and get the UAV scan on every other player gives you information where anyone else is on the map. If they want to stick around in epicenter, that will work in Dark Zero's favor.
Another squad rotating on the fence line. It's going to be FC Destroy. Still with the Watson and Newcastle, not expecting this to change here, but this is going to be great.
FC Destroy داریم که مچ سومو که نه مچ دومو وین کرد، ولی با اینکه وین کرد باز جاش جای خوبی نشد. این نتونست توی جدول حرفی برای گفتن داشته باشه. و الان میبینی هفتم نشسته با 27 پوینت. TSM رو داریم که واقعا تحت فشار 52 تا داره پوینت و توی رده دوم نشسته و هر لحظه میکنه حتی تاپ تور رو هم از دست بده. TSM میگه مچ اول رو بی نظیر زد و 27 تا توی مچ اول گرفت. توی مچ های بعدی نتونست عملکرد خوبی نشون بده. توی مپ ورزش که واقعا خوب بوده. ببینیم این مچ هم میتونه توی ورزش برگرده و دوباره خودشون نشون بده یا نه. ببین دوباره میتونه برگرده خودشون نشون بده یا نه. اینجا هاندر تیوزه که یه اولت روی دارک زیرو انداخته و به نظر میرسه میخواد راش دارک زیرو رو بده. دارک زیرو به قدرت تمام پوزیشن خودش رو هولد کرده و به این راحتی ها مثل که نمیخواد جای خودش رو به دارک زیرو بده.
Looking for a poke opportunity here on the other side, but there's also the ability to just farm these Evo shields if you keep skirmishing with this other team.
چند تا تیم توی اینجا فیز رو داریم، تینیسی هم داریم، KCP رو داریم. فیزی که خوراکش اینه که داخل این بیل فایت بده آجی. فیزی که خوراکش اینه که داخل این بیل فایت بده. نمیدونم تورنمنت ها رو نگاه کردین یا نه. تورنمنت ها رو بیشتر تریک فیز بود این بود که میومد این ساختمون رو میگیره ولی همیشه طبقه بالا وای میستاد. مثل اینکه الان وقت نکرده که طبقه بالا رو بگیره. KCP هم حتی جلوشه. جای TSM اونقدر خوب نیست، اونقدر هم بد نیست. یه دونه FC دیستروی هم پشت خودش داره. FC دیستروی هم پشت TSM پشت خودش داره. این فیزه که بالا رو گرفته و دست بالا رو داره. KCP or TSM rotate through the back end, they're going to be in the line of sight of Pulverex, who could bunker down because they got the Loba to secure more loot, and because of the fact that they could play more of that bunker down playstyle with their composition. Yeah, Pulverex really good at utilizing that Loba. Now look, there's three teams that are looking for a solid amount of points here. Okay, we've got Oxygen Esports on 42, we've got Pioneers. LG چی تیمی که واقعا فکر میکنم عدل فینال بهتر ظاهر شه هنوز نتونسته حرکت خاصی بزنه. از داخل سیتی هم داره روتیت میکنه. اکست رو داریم اینوری که هرمش تقریبا اکست همین پوزیشن رو میگیره و بعد جاشو تغییر میده. دارک زیرو رو داریم که اکست مثل این که پشتشه و ممکنه که اکست دوباره بیاد با دارک زیرو فایت بده. اینورم فنتیک داریم. فنتیک هم حتی ممکنه با اکست درگیر شه. فنتیک این مچ دیگه کریپتو رو گرفته و داره با اطرافش رو نگاه میکنه که غافلگیر نشه.
This is a tough position. I mean, you can catwall out here, but you probably have to expose yourself quite a lot to even, you know, just put that up and lock off a 3v3 with Fnatic.
یه پوینت هم یه پوینته.
Unusual for Dark Zero in them having to play from a position of disadvantage to try and make their way in.
They do have the jump tower there if they do want to take that. That is to say, if they get pinched in the next minute and less than 30 seconds, once the circle closes in. But Fnatic look great in terms of loot, and they got the crypto. They probably have the EMP already at the ready to engage in a fight if they so want to. I don't expect a squad to third-party this position either, with so many teams in the survey area.
So it looks like Dark Zero may even just be playing for the evac tower here, Vicky, to go for this and then perhaps pop all the way over. They've got a little bit of time sort of make that decision. I'm reading this as a zone that's probably going to end up at the big sort of weather tower north of Climatizer. And teams up there like FC Destroy and Pulverex, I think you're going to be set up for success.
You know what's extra exciting about Pulverex's composition? We mentioned the Loba, we mentioned the down comp with the Rampart, but the crypto is important to highlight there too because
فنتیک اینجا رو هولد کرده و داره اطرافش رو نگاه میکنه که غافلگیر نشه هنوز.
to start an engagement when they already have weakened shields. So that could be crucial here for Pulverex, and they need it desperately here too because I believe they're currently sitting with less points than a lot of these other teams that are already situated in the final circle.
Yeah, I mean they can use that crypto ult to try and scare other teams away if they think they're getting a little too close, because obviously with a lot of other seers in the lobby, Vicky, you want that EMP coming down first before you get locked out and silence the focus of attention. But because they're a team who's obviously in the defensive position here, they can't necessarily force that as much.
Seeing the rotations from Alliance here too. Exiting out of Grandma's building. Alliance fans roaring in the crowd out here, hearing some whistles. 100 Thieves still in survey, as well as Oxygen. They're not going to be moving anytime soon as they try to play on the border of the next circle. But it's a matter of any of these teams have that ring information that so many of our other squads playing patiently could get first.
Dark Zero not sticking by the balloon, actually. It looks like they're going a little bit further
and it's Alliance that are on the other end of that tunnel. Fire Beavers, always trying to look to get into some action early on. They're sitting down at epicenter, and as you can see, both two juggernauts. Down here, yeah, that's exit. They're pretty far away, honestly, so it should
آروم داره دنبال میشه. هیچ تیمی به تیم دیگه فایت نمیده.
The survey UAV beacon to find out which squads are already in the area. So that's also an indicator to let Alliance know that Dark Zero's in that tunnel, so they could try to force out a fight. What I'm worried about
اکسید رو داریم این ور که پوزیشن خوبی رو داره، مشکلی نداره اکسید. اکسید نمیدونم اصلا چرا یاراشون باید حرف نمیزنن. اینکه اینفو بدی به یارات خیلی مهمه. همشون تمرکز کردن رو بازی، این چیز خوبی هست، ولی خب به یارات هم باید اینفو بدی. 600 تا حرکت میزنن، 2 کلمش باید به یارشون اینفو میدن. نمیدونم این فکر کنم کار بدی باشه توی چنین ساعتی. با اینفو حداقل باید بیشتر به یاراشون بدن. اگه تی اس ام رو نگاه کنید، تی اس ام هر لحظه از بازیش داره اینفو میده. هر لحظه از بازیش داره اینفو میده.
ruin the fun and waste some meds. He's got the gold Evo. If anything, he could technically boost Nocturnal's Evo shield up with this charge rifle and 6x scope. But it's letting other teams know that there is a team over to the south side of Survey that are going to be rotating, adding in some extra pressure. 100 Thieves now have rotated into another building of Survey, while Oxygen are going to have to start rotating soon. That is Dark Zero that Exet is shooting at currently, still in the tunnel.
TSM still very happy up in their Siphon building at the moment. They won't be a factor until later. It does seem to be Dark Zero who will have to make the tough decisions earlier on in our game 5. A minute left still. They're running back and forth here. I genuinely am fascinated to see which option they're going to go with. They could make a last-minute dash for that balloon and go in just before they start taking that round 4 damage. Obviously, zone 4 does tick a little bit harder. Zone 3 being sort of tankable.
Circle closing into less than 30 seconds. Fire Beavers playing outside of the circle, maybe looking to get to that beacon. It does look like that is the case.
Could be bad timing though. Blackhand have finally made it out of Skyhook and into the circle. If they catch them off guard here, they might hear the survey beacon makes a very loud noise. Oi Ray has been caught off guard.
Even with the smoke, it's not going to be enough as a knock comes in. Fire Beavers down a member. Black Hand profiting as they rotate away, but Dark Zero not wanting to get involved. The evac tower called in while the Skyward dive on the other side.
Rotation options happening left and right.
Let's tune into a listen with Dark Zero to see how they plan out this rotation.
I break it.
I'm already cracked.
Should I die? Nah, I'm good. Sliding down.
Slide down, slide down. I think you more, right?
Okay, right.
Okay, ready? I'm running right.
We have to run.
Hit it in the building.
Yeah, we should just go past it. Try to go past it or wall or something. Okay, like right? Yeah, just do something.
Okay, wall.
Wait, I can kill him.
I'm weak. Okay.
They did it twice.
I'm at the caravan.
Outside
caravan. One shot. I died to this though. You have to run in. Holding, zone holding. One guy.
One of the squads in the lobby that have been at match point now taken out. Dark Zero meet their doom on a very difficult rotation.
The man with the plan. I think that's usually a good name to describe Zero, but here he doesn't find a way to take his team north with them. That was never going to work. There were so many other squads either already in survey camp or also making this sort of last-ditch effort to try and get into the circle that Dark Zero had almost no chance to pull in from there.
That's why with so many teams in this area alone, surprised there was no Hail Mary on the balloon as we zoom into LG. Also some Goayanya with the beam gets taken out with some height. Nizul, the only one alive for this squad. The Cossack Pharaohs trying to provide them some comfort and some extra cover. See if we can do it as NRG also get deleted in the feed by LG. They come out on top here. They got the power weapon in hand as Oxygen are trying to rotate in.
Yeah, and they've got the high ground as well. Remember, Oxygen only 5 points away from hitting match point here. These kills could be crucial.
See how Oxygen plays around the respawn beacon here. Vayne in a lot of trouble. Oxygen door out in the open. Yes, they had the high ground advantage, but look, LG on the other side have the natural cover of the rocks. They could not get Jaguares back up. Nizuldo has been playing off this rock so beautifully, but Yarden needs all the help.
هایگراند گرفته و ولی LG هم داره خجالش در میاد. ببینیم میتونه LG نه موفق نبود که اکسیژن رو بزنه. چه چیزی، چه بد یارو از داخل اسموک زد، چقدر بد یارو از داخل اسموک زد. شت شت.
Such a hard rotation. 2 more points left for LG to hit match point. They need to get 2 more KP or placement points as the rotation now comes in. Alliance north of 100 Thieves, shrinking for 100 Thieves. They don't have the natural cover of the rocks unless they go to the right.
Oh, both of the teams might struggle to get out of this one. As you can see, Alliance try and stay ahead of the zone and ahead of the game. Whoever wins this should be able to make it to the train cars just to the northwest of them, but they've lost effect.
The circle doing so much damage, bringing tears to the eyes of Alliance. Nice for the wall hop here. Hockeys! Oh, so much damage, but in the distance. Gets taken out by the teams that have them in their sight. Polvrex still in circle position. FC Destroyer on the other side. Moist Esports taking a chunk out of the squad that had to rotate out from Alliance.
Moist have been a little bit quiet today so far, Vicky, in stark contrast to what we saw out of them yesterday. They looked like the best team in the lobby. Indeed, they were, but they are currently 23 points away from being match point. Now, if we have a look at this zone, damn, if I couldn't have called that any better. That is pixels away from the weather station I was talking about. Of course, that very small circle there.
دارتو رو بگیره و رتبه اولی رو تصاحب کنه.
Polvrex have been eliminated. You can see some of the remnants of their amped cover still on that map feed there, but Fnatic have
حالا که دارزیر مرده بهترین.
Even more beautiful. Fnatic with the crypto, the Bangalore, the Valkyrie composition. Playing this from the fence line. Seeing if they can get the EMP for an engagement if a squad tries to contest them for this space, but I'm not expecting that to happen until this circle starts closing in. Thinking about Optic gaining, holding the edge. FC Destroy that have not left their positioning this entire game. Closest team right now to match point in this lobby is KCP with 44 points.
All right, it's about to go down here on the south side. Vicky FaZe, TSM, Exit, and Pioneers all coming out of the building at the same time. Moisture on the west of this and should be able to pick up some free points here. They are going to look on with glee as Arcstars, Alt, Nades, everything come out from these 4 teams.
TSM کل تمرکزش رو TSM داره چیکار میکنه؟ میخواد که واقعا دیگه به نظر میسه میخواد بیاد اولی را دارزی رو بگیره. ببینیم اگه بد شانس باشه زیاد نشه موفق میشه. بله TSM زیاد میشه. بهترین موقعیتی که میتونست داشته باشه رو برای اینکه جای دارزی رو بگیره رو از دست میده.
They played this really well, hid in a corner essentially on the right side of the map, and now have decided to make their move. They've got FC Destroy locked in behind that wall, but Exit are right next to them.
5 squads left. Let's jump into a listening with Optic Gaming holding circle advantage.
Think from us. Yeah. I'm safe. I'm really safe here.
Here, drop. Stare at my ping.
Yeah, they moved to us. Yeah, Bang got knocked. On me, Horizon. Coming. Fried, 1, dead. Nice. Another one, I think.
Swap. Still a duo on the fence. Still a duo on the fence.
Yo, gold helmet in this box.
Need light. I got light. I'm holding our right. Dropping swap.
You have ult?
They're playing Horizon ult.
Okay, you're gonna Horizon ult the duo.
It's free kills, I should say.
Okay, fine.
ما به صدر جواب بودن همشون دد شدن.
They have to move. They're gonna put their just spray down.
همه تیم‌ها دد شدن.
I'm playing on low ground here.
Get their wall out.
Yeah, shoot their wall out.
Just walked in.
Flash, 50 flash, 60 flash, he's one. Nice.
Queuing up towards us.
Yeah.
I'm ulting these guys.
Catch shit on. 1-1. Crack 2.
I got 2.
Zero on.
Cat is 1. Nading our other side, guys. They're swing.
I'm laying behind them. 60, 70 on bow. You go crazy, knock.
I got the bow.
Nice. Play aggro.
Crack the swap.
I have the
اینا چیکار میکنه جایی
1v2. There's a gold swap on the ground. You can climb up
left. Yes, climb up left.
You just got to bat up left.
Go down at the hands of Fnatic. The sigh of relief from this team as they were able to approach Optic from the back angle, crossing that open ground that Optic was holding for the longest. So close here, and Fnatic putting themselves on the board to pop us from the crowd.
Patience pays pounds here for Oxygen, who almost get it to match point, but it's Optic Gaming who come out on top here. A big game. Sorry, Fnatic who comes out on top, but we've got some really awesome supporters up there in the crowd. You can see the flags coming out. APAC North yet to win a trophy here at LAN, but Fnatic slowly pushing their way to change that narrative.
I love seeing the sides of the crowd. Fnatic win. I believe that sets them up with 35 points. We're going to have to see with the total kills that they were able to secure aside from first right there. But we're seeing so much from Yuka, getting 8 kills alone so far throughout the course of the day. They needed that dub to set them up. And you know, that also means my favorite thing. It means more Apex Legends after we said goodbye to Dark Zero and TSM in the lobby originally. Let's see the final circle playthrough and how Optic had to play that originally, and seeing how Fnatic also approached that. It was good timing on their part here too, because they saw the fight opportunity open up for them to rotate in.
Now remember, these guys had about half the circle to themselves coming into this. You can see very hard cover. Fantastic positions for them to be in. There's still 4 squads alive at this point, and they do actually let Optic Gaming do a lot of the work. That's FC Destroy. They've got a flimsy mobile shield, does not hold them out. And then with Moist still sticking around, it's going to be Fnatic rolling up on them with the Gigi threats.
Now, what I loved about this too is from Optic's point of view, we saw the gravity lift and then the option coverage from Optic to try to find a Fnatic. They knew they were going to rotate here. You saw Umichan going down first before Skittlecake met his doom as well. But this was beautiful. Meltstera having the Digi, having the smoke, having all the view here too, while Yuka is going to be able to pop that shield bat before finishing off what was left of Optic Gaming from the back end. Great timing and rotation from Fnatic. And just like you mentioned and what we've seen, Genome, they were also able to hold that circle position from the very beginning.
Optic did well there to get into that top 2, but unfortunately for them, Fnatic and Yuka, we had an interview with him earlier, one of the most mechanically gifted players, known primarily, I would say, for his movement mechanics. He looks like he's playing a different game. I mean, he is Spider-Man.
He's so humbled there too, talking about what a good friend Umichan is for him, the way that this squad is so cohesive, looking at the damage output that everybody has built on this squad, as well as the follow-ups that we were able to see from Meltstera. Yuka was able to finish the job with 4 kills, Umichan with 2. Fnatic right now, putting a name on the board as they need for the rest of APAC.
Yeah, 35 points for them overall, and you can see here the match 5 results we're going to look at. Moist finally putting themselves on the board here, 12 points. Xset also ticking up at 12, but down there in 10th at Oxygen is the heartbreak point.
Yes.
They got 7 points, a single kill or placement point more would have jumped them up into contention for match 6.
1 point? Are you kidding me? It's going to be crazy for this next game. Looking at this second page now, LG Chivas did get 3 KP, Alliance 100 Thieves as well. Also nice to know from that first page, KCP just a few points away from also sitting at match point. They currently have 47 points, which is going to mean all the difference. All the way at the bottom, that 50-50 that we keep seeing on World's Edge, GO are the ones to say goodbye. Not going to be able to secure the extra points that they needed when they were currently sitting on 15th now overall, as we took a look at the series results here.
Yeah, even with only 2 points, Dark Zero still stand head and shoulders above
the rest. TSM, again, can't quite make it out. They're just not getting those favorable pulls. And I mean, you know, these final circles, obviously, in this sort of a lobby, everyone is playing very good Apex. The macro is impeccable, and finding those power positions where you don't just have to make a gamble, because we saw TSM coming out of that building. It's a bit of a gamble, Vicky. There's 4 other teams around. You got Moist beaming down on you. You know, there's no guarantee you're getting out of that.
So that's what I was mentioning. FC Destroy taking that off lot position with the Watson fences, how scary it could be for the teams cycling outside of that north climatizer building, but that also highlights how quick these squads are in getting the information they need with the ring console, and even denying that from other teams like we have seen from Storm Point. Love to see the fans out here. Radio too making an appearance. Shout out to all you guys that have made your way into the Copper Box Arena. It is so hyped to see you guys out here. I'm gonna toss it over to Blaze with an interview. Show us what you got, Blaze.
Thank you so much, Vicky. I got Mama Verhulst with me on the main stage, and she has been out here vibing, having a fantastic time. Now, moms, okay, I love to refer to your son as Biggie, but I know that's your little E right there on stage. What is it like watching him play at match point in this amazing crowd in London?
I am not going to lie. I get sick to my stomach with nervous energy. I mean, it is crazy to see him here. We are so excited. It's thrilling.
It really is thrilling, okay? Now, you got a chance to watch him win that championship last time. What would it mean to you and the fam, okay? Because we all love the Verhulst family. What would it mean for him to do that again?
Oh my goodness, it would be so amazing if they could win again. I mean, my family supports Evan and all of TSM wholeheartedly. There is nothing we'd rather see in the entire world right now than to see TSM take home the win.
Would you guys like to see that? Now, your family gets so much support here from this community, and TSM is going. What do you want to say to the TSM fans to get them hyped up going into this next match?
Oh my goodness, fans from around the world have come up and said hello to me and said that they're fans of TSM. It has been so exciting. I just thank everyone for the love and the support, and go TSM!
Go TSM! That's gonna do it for me and Mama Verhulst here on the stage. Mark, Gaskin, take it away.
It's our pleasure to take it away, Blaze. Always good to hear from Mama Verhulst. She's always bringing the vibes. Obviously, she wants to see her son lift that trophy back-to-back for the second time. But, of course, there's some work to do for them to get done. That was a difficult
lot of work to get
done.
But
we got it out eventually.
You got through it, and that's what matters, and they need to get through it as well. Now, you will remember at Split 1 playoffs, it took TSM quite some time to get there and actually lift that trophy. 4 games before they managed to get past match point and get a victory. So it's not like it's doom and gloom just yet after a couple of games.
Certainly isn't indeed. And we want to thank some of our sponsors, of course, for helping us put these awesome shows together for everyone who's in the arena and for you at home to enjoy. And I tell you what, those things, beautiful stuff from Herman Miller. We want to give a shout out, of course, to one of our sponsors, Herman Miller. Gaming in Body and Phantom chairs are being used at today's event. Phantom comes in red, white and black. It is the newest product offered by Herman Miller Gaming. The iconic Gaming in Body is now offered with a white base, galaxy or amethyst upholstery. Herman Miller Gaming is the official chair partner of the ALGS. I still need one, Dan. I'm straight up.
He has still not been given one yet, but maybe if he keeps shouting them out, he might get one. Maybe if I shout them out, maybe I'll get
if they need to know where I am.
Would you fit in one of them? That's the real question. You are a very large man now.
I am, but, you know, yes, I would. Anyway, let's talk about Apex Legends. Let's focus on what we've got ahead of us, because we have to change things up a little bit here. We're going to keep rolling across. TSM probably thinking back on that and thinking, we were there, we were in touching distance, but it was a very tough rotate for them to make towards that end zone. Dark Zero still on match point as well. Oxygen got so close though. They were 1 point off of hitting match point, and then just behind them you have Pioneers who need 3 more, Alliance needs 7. You get the feeling, Dan, that if TSM or Dark Zero don't get it done right here, right now in this next game, then all of a sudden the shop floor is open and we're going to have a bunch of teams joining them.
Well, one thing that Dark Zero are doing very well at is still accumulating points. They have 72 at the moment, so they are first in the table. Even if someone was to kind of sneak in and take that first place away from them, they'd still be in a healthy second as long as they are getting those points. And they look confident. They sound confident. Every time they walk past me backstage as we come up to the caster booth, they're looking like they saying, yeah, this will be the one. They just know that they have that potential. They are the champions mentality squad that we know and love. but we'll have to see whether they can get it done. It is going to be World's Edge again, and we'll have to see whether Jen Burton can lead and supply the goods with the rest of this squad.
I mean, it definitely supplies the vibes, though. Like you said, you know, when we see players run up and down the stairs, Jen comes past us every time. He's like, "Hey, let's go, boys!" He's ready to get back on the stage and see if he can be in position to once again lift a trophy. But we've got to talk about what's happened. We've got to talk about where we are going. World's Edge will still be the battleground in our match number 6 here. TSM, FC Destroy, Dark Zero, Pioneers, and Fnatic in that last game.
خب داریم میریم برای مچ آخر.
But no wins that guaranteed a championship.
And just to let you know, Dark Zero have yet to find a win on World's Edge so far this tournament. So Stormpoint is their better map, but at the same time,
ببینیم مچ
at
آخری
some
که
point stats go out the window a little bit when
What?
it's Dark Zero because they just seem to
مچ
clutch it
آخرم
up in that
داخل
final moment
ورزیجه.
and always show us how
یعنی
it's
فقط
done
دو تا
when it
مچ
comes to
داخل
match
استان
point. But I
پوینت
think it's
بود.
very important for both Dark
عجیبه
Zero and
واقعا.
TSM that they are still the only two teams on match point. But if they don't get it done here in 6, we're going to start to see several more
چند
get
دفعه
added to
که
that
مپا رو
roster,
آوردم
and then
همه
suddenly it becomes carnage in those final circles.
ترتیب
Who am I
مپا زیاد
fighting?
دقت
Are they on
نکردم.
match point? If I lose this, will we lose the tournament? It's much easier to focus and try and assess things when it's only 2 teams who are on match point.
Also interesting to point out as well, is this something that Oxygen will look back on in that last game to get just one more KP, and we could have been there. Pioneers as well, extremely close to joining them on match point, and maybe, just maybe, Pioneers will be able to get it done. They don't look worried about things though. Look at Nasky right now, chilling.
They got a massive victory and had a massive celebration as well. I mean, so much adrenaline pumping through your veins when you do find that victory. Yeah, we're talking about you, but thumbs up. Can't hear anything though.
I think people, he wants to get the
واقعا دلم
get out of his seat
عزیز
anymore unless there's more noise in the arena.
It's probably
you know
been,
what I mean?
yeah, it's probably been told off.
It gets a little bit louder than Nasky will give it back.
Jumping around, almost broke the stage at this point. But the Pioneers, they played 6, they've won 1. A lot of kills and assists. The Pioneers, I mean, they put themselves in a real shot getting to match point here. Just a few kills, one team fight that you have to win. And then you were on match point.
خب
Now,
پره
if
که
they were to
نمیگیریم
achieve that
حداقل
in the early
شلش کنیم و
stages,
لذت
you start to
ببریم.
think, right, where do we think TSM are? Where do we think Dark Zero are? How can we maybe cut them off on their rotation? Will we be able to find them, shut them down, so we can get into that next game and put that match point eligibility onto effect?
One thing that was interesting to kind of note from the last 2 games, by the way, oh my goodness, that is the official dance of the Apex Legends.
کاپره که نمیبریم شلش کنیم حداقل لذت ببریم.
This is the series results, and I want to talk about the zones as you can see the scores and where everyone stands at the moment, because the Dark Zero
72-58 مچ داره شروع میشه و دیگه جمعش کنم بیام ببینم چی کار دارم میتونم بکنم. 72-58
maybe just a little bit too much to ask with that zone and having to do it all, but a little bit of a shift and we see one of those zones. The interesting thing is that comes maybe a little more central, maybe we see a Siphon zone, maybe we see a Harvester zone. Both of them are so close to each other as POIs here at World's Edge. They're the 2 match point teams, that's where they're going to be dropping, and all of a sudden then it becomes a battle of TSM and Dark Zero having priority to a zone and being able to potentially close it out.
I mean, there are certain circles and zones that would encourage the possibility of a Dark Zero versus TSM final fight. We know it's entirely possible with how they are going to be playing.
مچ 6 آخرین مچ استارت میشه و TSM اگر بخواد که
we are going to crown a champion, or of course, are we going to keep on rolling into match number 7?
اگر بخواد که دوباره کاپو ببره خونه‌اش باید شگفتی سازی کنه. وگرنه دارک زیروه که دوباره برمیگرده و کاپو از چنگال تی اس ام در میاره.
In match number 6, but just behind them, Oxygen, Pioneers, Alliance, Moist, and Fnatic in phase down with a win here. You would say maybe pushing themselves
دوباره اوتوسان به نظر میاد داریم که اینجا لند کرده.
As we start off with the contest once again.
Whilst everyone else gets looted and booted, it's Black Hand versus Gambari Otazan round.
Black Hand. بلک هند رو داریم اینجا لند کرده.
And every single time they try and take that height, Gio.
الان که بلک هند موفق تر بوده ببینیم این میتونه بزنه آیا بلک هند میزنه یا نه. اوتوسان فکر کنم بلک هند میزنه و اوتوسانو به چخ میره. فایر بریوزه که چه سریع اومده داره بلک هند رو ترد میکنه آجی. فایر بریوز سرکلش کجا پیدا شد؟ فایر بریوز سرکلش واقعا از کجا پیدا شد؟ سریع اومدن که یه پوینت رو از اینجا بتونن بکشن بیرون. ببینیم آیا موفق عمل میکنن برای کشیدن پوینت یا نه.
This fight, they definitely gave it a good effort, and you could see the pings from a distance, but because they weren't able to close that gap, because the fight was finished quick enough, Fire Beavers are going to have to back off here. Very interesting to see. It's actually two players for Fire Beavers. Because over in East Fragment at the moment, one player's still there, and that's going to be 9 Impulse. He said, you know what, Taskmaster, all right, if you can go and influence that fight, if you can clean up some KP for us, go and do it. It's risk free. And when you were
یه نگاهی به مپ بندازیم. اکسیت رو داریم، تی اس معمولا اینجا، بله تی اس رو اینجا داریم.
This was a deliberate ploy from Fire Beavers, but just didn't work. Well, you can see where the circle's going at the moment. It's a good one for Dark Zero, Harvester, an amazing one for NRG, who are landing down towards staging, and Dark Zero making their move as our TSM on the map, who are just going to be shadowing them over towards Harvester. So this is interesting. Our two match point teams moving very quickly, but look where TSM are landing. Pioneers are not so far behind.
که میخواد بره برای قهرمانی اگه از انرژی نخوره، چون انرژی خیلی نزدیک دارک زیرو. دارک به نظر داره انرژی رو چیس میکنه، نمیدونم شاید ندیدتش اصلا. نه ندیده بکنم انرژی رو. اگه بین این دوتا فایت در بگیره و انرژی بتونه دارک زیرو رو بزنه، تی اس ام شانسش برای چمپیون شدن برمیگرده. تی اس ام هم که میبینید یه جوری داره روتیت میکنه و حتی نزدیک انرژی، حتی شاید بخواد بره رو انرژی و چانسش رو تست کنه که انرژی رو بزنه، میگه ببخشید دارک زیرو رو بزنه. اگه بدونه که دارک زیروه که اونجاست ممکنه بره روش، بعید نیست.
Building shortly. As for Oxygen, they're still making their way down from Lava Fissure and
اینترنت ما اگه لگ نزنه خیلی خوب میشه. چرا این کارو میکنیم؟ بذاریم بریم داخل تویچ دیگه. یکی اینترنت شده. الاینس پوش بلک هند داده به نظر میسه. یکی از اعضای زده و بلند میکنن. ببینیم کی جامو ببره خونش. ببینیم تی اس ام میره رو دارک زیرو تا دارک زیرو تموم کنه یا نه. ولی امکان داره یه ریسک بزرگ کنه بدون دارک زیرو هم و بره روشون. از تی اس ام بعید نیست، از تی اس ام واقعا بعید نیست که چنین ریسکی رو بپذیره و بپره روی دارک زیرو. به نظر میاد فایت بین تی اس ام و دارک زیرو سر گرفته. تی اس ام ول نمیخواد بکنه انگار. دارک زیرو 2 تا کیل هم زده، 60 پوینت داره. تی اس ام عزمش رو جذب کرده که دیگه بیاد تمام توانشو بذاره جامو بگیره. داگزیرو یه نفر زنده است. TSM و مچ داریم کنار خودش. داگزیرو هایگراند داره. KCP بالاست. داگزیرو یه نفره. آیا نمیدونم TSM دو تا از داگزیرو رو زده. امکانش هست. 52 نفر موندن.
دو نفر موندن.
ببینید چی میشه. اوردر هم داریم این ور.
Would get there with even a below average performance have fallen early. Now you're looking at Oxygen Esports as the closest still to being able to cross it, but for Dark Zero and TSM fans, you're smiling right now. The closest competition has fallen early.
Whilst it might seem easy to get top 15 for Oxygen here just to get that one more point, we've seen it so many times when teams are this close.
هیچی هنوز معلوم نیست. هیچ چیزی هنوز معلوم نیست. 72 فکر کنم 12 تا پوینت TSM با دارک زیرو اگه اشتباه نکنم فاصله داشت. بزن ببینیم یه لحظه نتیجه بیان. اختلافشون شد 11 تا. 11 تا اختلاف واقعا زیادی نیست. TSM فقط کافیه این مچ رو وین کنه. فقط کافیه این مچ رو وین کنه تا جامو با خودش ببره خونه‌شون. اگه دارک زیرو نتونه با کیل بالا بزنه یا TSM فقط وین کنه جامو برده خونه‌شون.
Having to take on Fire Beavers, and Fire Beavers, we saw them crafting up those armors. We saw them trying to make a little bit of a cheeky play at the start of this one. Well, now they're going to make a more straightforward one.
Rain has to back off here. Did connect with a few scout shots, but as soon as Fire Beavers get that little bit of damage, they are a team who like to jump on the opposition team. At the moment, Riddle Order are just backing off further and further. They do not want this fight right now, but Fire Beavers are continuing to push forward.
Taskmaster has his shields broken.
این فایر بیوز چی کار میکنه دیگه؟ آیا میتونه؟
From Bangalore, the smoke goes in and trying to use the digi here. Got an impulse to get that initial knock to block the sight. Taskmaster trying to fire blindly and down. Nine impulse has gone down. Yu-Gi-Oh gets that first kill. He'll get the finish as well. Can they level up the numbers here? It looks like they're going to turn it into a 2v2.
بازی خوب داره بازی میکنه. یعنی یکی از یهاشون دمیجه از تکتیکال فایر بیوز فرار میکنه. یعنی سیرشون هنوز نه دیگه فایر بیوز تمام میشه. یه اوردر فایر بیوز رو تمام میکنه هر جوری که شده. اوردر هر جوری که شده فایر بیوز رو تمام میکنه.
And they can get that res away. The team who is closest to them is FaZe, and they've just come through the choke from Harvester, so they are quite some way away. There's not really any worry. The only problem is he's going for the res, of course.
این برای فیز رو داریم که داره روتیت میکنه.
Think about the fact that that fight might have not have been clean, so maybe you're going to think about looking at that respawn beacon for a few seconds, but of course that's going to slow their rotating. It looks like that is not the choice coming in from FaZe.
So keep an eye on this kill feed as this next zone closes. If one more team is eliminated and it's not Oxygen Esports, they will be on match point for the next game, and then their task is to stop
فکر نمی‌کردم واقعا فیز بتونه رتبه 8 تا داخل فینال داشته باشه. اما خب از اولش از استارتش بهتر بازی کرده. 72 تا پوینت 61 پوینت. اگر دارک زیرو بمیره به TSM یه دونه وین بگیره 100% برنده. حتی دارک زیرو بمیره TSM اگه دو رتبه تاپ 2 رو هم بگیره باز چمپه. اکسیژن ایم نداره. اپتیک این نداره واسه گانش و بعید میدونم بخواد تیر بزنه و جاشو لو بده. اما تیمیتاش تیر میزنه. TSM یه پوزیشن نه چندان باز خوب، چون که از دو سه طرف میتونه مورد حمله قرار بگیره رو داره. رینگ بعدی رو هم تو تی اس ام داده. از این لحاظ حال تی اس ام راحته و این که بعد داکتر هم جایی که رینگو بهش نداده و باید حرکت کنه به سمت رینگ. وقتی رینگ سه میاد و اگه توی راه بمیره تی اس ام میتونه کاپو بگیره. من هنوز به تی اس ام امید دارم. هنوز میگم تی اس ام میتونه چمپ کنه. Three players will approach this end game for now. Got some meds to work with as well, so the red's not going to be too much of a problem. اکسیژن رو داریم که تاپ تریه. تیمی که اصلا فکرش هم نمی‌کنن تاپ تری بشه. فناتیک حالا داریم از این ور. But Fnatic using this dark veil for now. Just to survive. Yeah, NRG are above Fnatic. TSM were able to grief them, were able to get that knock. میتونه بره بالا ولی نمیدونم چرا نمیره. انرژی پایین فناتیک داره. این طرف فقط کافیه داخل اولت کاتالیست بزنه تا تیرش به انرژی بخوره. چرا این کارو نکرد؟ این که عجیبه. By so many members and so many players on this map. Still, how will this triple take is such a thorn in everyone's side who wants to try and survive on this bridge. Oh, but here comes Algs, all of a sudden Fnatic. داره شرحه میشه. خودشو میذاره پایین و از اونجا که کسی ندیده سعی میکنه. فناتیک تموم میشه. تی اس ام داره که 6 تا کیل زده. 65 تا پوینت داره تی اس ام. تی اس ام از هر موقعی دیگه ببین به چند نزدیکتره. داگ زیرو هیچ کیلی رو نتونسته بزنه و حتی داگ زیرو داره تموم میشه. اگه داگ زیرو تموم بشه کاپو همینجا از دست میده. اگه داگ زیرو تموم بشه کاپو همینجا من به تو قول میتونم بدم که از دست میده. ولی 73 پوینت داره که از پلسمنت به دست آورده. بلک هند داره میاد داکتر رو تمام میکنه. نباید اگه نمیاد تی اس ام فکر نکنم بود که داشت بلک هند رو میزد. اگه تی اس ام بوده که داره کار خودش سخت میکنه. اکسیژنه که اومده الان داره بلک هند میزنه. ببینیم چی کار میکنه. اکسیژن اومده. دارک زیرو اگر گلچه این واسه
Oxygen get the 1 point and then burst into life here on World's Edge. It was a clean pick onto Jem Burton, though. You have to wonder from his point of view what that looked at. They now continuing to keep the pressure on the rest of the lobby as Bugie will fall to.
An unbelievable change of pace from Oxygen. As soon as they secured that point, they instantly started sprinting towards any sort of action and said, hey, it could be one of the two teams we have to take down, and the first one that goes down is one of them. But it means that now it's just down to TSM, who are inside center zone. They are staging, but this circle will shift ever so slightly away from the building they currently reside in. I can tell you that no one is in the current circle, as now Blackhand, as they lost that one member, they drop down, they're trying to survive, but there's just too many teams here on set.
Easy flash.
بلک هند دیگه داشت میرفت دارک زیروی که داره قهرمان میشه رو تموم کنه. حالا یه نفر ازشون مونده. اینور ال جی چی رو داریم. ال جی به نظر میاد که داره داگ زیرو رو میزنه. اگر داگ زیرو تموم شه، که احتمالش هم خیلی زیاده، تی اس ام جامو با خودش میبره. بله داگ زیرو تموم شده. من یه حواسم نبود داگ زیرو تموم شده. TSM فقط کافیه، فقط کافیه زنده بمونه تا تاپ 5 و جامو با خودش ببره خونهشون. تاپ 5 یا تاپ 3 کافیه فکر کنم برای اینکه کاپو بگیره با خودش ببره. اکست حالا داریم، اکستی که یه دونه تکتیکال میزنه، رینگ داره بسته میشه، رینگی که به نفع TSM، همه چیز الان به نفع TSM، همه چیز الان به نفع TSM. هر تیمی که بمیره به نفع TSM، هر اتفاقی که تو گیم بیفته بجز مرگ TSM و تموم شدن TSM به نفع TSM اومده که کاپو بگیره ببره خونهشون. اپتیکو داره میبره، اپتیک گانش گان رمپارت، لوکیشن رمپارته. اکسیژن رو داریم که داره با تیم فایت میده، کرک هم میکنه، میخواد سعی کنه که پوزیشن رو هولد کنه تا یار خودشو ریوایو بده. ببینیم میتونه. نه TSM که اکسیژن رو یکی دیگه از اکسیژن میندازه. TSM کلیدره، این پرهل کلیدره. این پرهل اومده که کاپو ببره، این پرهل اومده که کاپو ببره. و 1600 تا این مچ دمیج زده TSM. اکست رو جلوش داره، اکستی که سولو بالا یکیشون اگه اشتباه نکنم. TSM 68 تا داره، هر لحظه داره به داک نزدیک میشه. هاندرتیو جلوی اکسته، هنوز همه چی به نفع TSMه. یکی رو میندازه LG چیفز، تموم میکنه این تیمو، تیم FC دیستروی رو تموم میکنه LG چیفز. TSM میره برای رینگ، یه اولت میکنه، همونو یه آرکستار میندازه، سیرشون هم اولت کرده، اصلا نمیخواد ریسک کنن. TSM بهترین پوزیشن رو داره میره که هاندرتیوز رو بزنه. هاندرتیو لستشونه، 69 تا پوینت داره، 70 تا پوینت باید باشه اگه الان اشتباه نکنم. 71 پوینت داره، 4 تا پوینت، فقط 4 تا پوینت قهرمانی فاصله داره. فقط TSM 4 تا پوینت قهرمانی فاصله داره. پوینتی نیست که TSM نتونه بزنه، 4 تا پوینت دیگه بگیره جامو برده با خودشون خونه. دارن میرن واسه LG چیپ، اپتیک مرد. حالا میرن اپتیک و گیمینگ اگه اشتباه نکنم بزنن. رفتن برای اپتیک گیمینگ، یکیشون رو دام میکنن، دراپ میده اپتیک. 71 پوینت، 73 پوینت. فقط حتی میتونن دوباره برگردن هایگراند رو بگیرن، هایگراند هم دارن.
TSM top 5.
74 تا پوینت. هاندرتیوز لستشونه، اگه بخوام برن رو هاندرتیوز تمومه، هاندرتیوز رو بزنن تمومه. رفتم واسه هاندرتیوز، مشکلی نداره، فقط یه تکتیکاله. سیر بود، میخوام برم هاندرتیوز رو تموم کنم. اگه هاندرتیوز رو تموم کنن وین جامو با خودشون میبرن خونهشون. خیلی مسلط خوشحال. لست آندرتیف و اینجاست رینگ اومده نمیتونه راشش بدن، منتظرن که آندرتیف دراپ بده. فیز هم خط آندرتیف رو داره، حتی آندرتیف بمیرم تی اس ام میتونه کاپو ببره خونهشون. از پشت تی اس ام تموم میشه، ولی تی اس ام کی تموم شد؟ آیا تا به تیری رسیده بود؟ فیز وین میکنه، ولی آیا تی اس ام تونسته بود به دارک زیرو برسه یا نه؟ اینجوری که معلومه دارن دارک زیرو خوشحالی میکنه، نفهم این سوم شد یا چهارم. اکسیت بود، فیز بود که از پشت راش تی اس ام رو داد. چه اتفاق افتاد؟ آیا تی اس ام برده دارک زیرو؟ من نفهمیدم. فیز وین فیز رو من کار ندارم، میخواستم بدونم که تی اس ام چند تا پوینت گرفت. اگر فیز پریده باشه و تی اس ام رو زده باشه، یعنی دارک زیرو باید بیاد پاهای فیز رو ببوسه، واقعا باید بیاد پاهای تیم فیز رو ببوسه. یعنی دارک زیرو واقعا بیاد پاهای تیم فیز رو ببوسه اگه چنین کاری کرده باشه. من نفهمیدم تیمی که پشت چطوری بری روی تی اس ام غافلگیر شد، توی یه لحظه مرد. چرا سکوها رو نشون نمیده، فقط فکوی فیز رو نشون داد. اگه اشتباه نکنم همین 6 تا باید باشه دیگه، فکر نکنم ادامه داشته باشه. یعنی نفهمیدن که کی اول تاپ تیری شده تی اس ام یا نه. دارن فکر کنم دارن چک میکنن که تی اس ام تاپ تیری شده یا بعد مرده. We go again. I'm here with Glitter Explosion. Of course, RKN joining us on the desk in replacement of Sabs this time around. اگه چنین باشه که من برگام میریزه. Joining myself Rain Day. RKN, I'm going to jump to you. Let's walk back through that final circle because a lot of us اگه چنین چیزی باشه من برگام میریزه.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was already ready to close this tournament out, man.
تی اس ام اینجا رفت که آندر تیوز رو بزنه. اگه همون لحظه راش آندر تیوز احمق رو میدادن الان تی اس ام وین بود.
Looking over the zone. As the zone closes, they drop down to the bridge, and they don't get too hasty. They play the box, they wait for the zone to close out, because at first I can tell that they were preemptively positioning in case a Team Horizon queued up on them. But I think the moment got to them here. As they're holding the high ground,
هنوز فکر میکنن که آندرتیو تیمیتشون اونجاست.
They do a great job of controlling this left side of the zone and pushing 100 Thieves out.
یا نمیدونستن که آندر تیوز رفته اونور، وگرنه پوچش میدادن. اینا منتظر بودن که رینگ بیاد، آندر تیوز مجبور شده که پیک بده بعد آندر تیوز بزنن. اکست بود که از پشت راش تی اس ام داد. اکست بود که از پشت راش تی اس ام داد. TSM سوم رسید. TSM سوم رسید. سوم من یادم نیست دقیقا چقدر پوینت میده. ولی اگه بیشتر از دوتا بده این TSM که جامو با خودش میبره. هفتو 5 7 2 تا پوینت میده. یعنی داگ زیرو فیز داگ زیرو TSM پوینت مشترک گرفتن یا TSM برد. فکر کنم 73 بود و پوینت مشترک گرفتن. الان اگه پوینت مشترک گرفته باشه یعنی یه مچ دیگه باید انجام بشه. داگ زیرو و یه پوینت گرفته بود این مچ. چه اتفاقی داره میفته؟ چه اتفاقی داره میفته؟ الان من نمیدونم. اکسید چیکار کرد با TSM؟ همش تقصیر اکسیده. اکسید بود دیگه اشتباه نکنم. TSM چرا 73؟ TSM 76ه. TSM قهرمان شد. من فکر کنم داگ زیرو 75 TSM ولی 76ه. Oh my God.
And heard about his quest against Dark Zero when they were back on Storm Point. Now that FaZe have stopped yet another match point team from doing so, they have been performing with incredible accuracy.
باورم نمیشه TSM دوباره قهرمان شد.
I think that there's a good chance they take it.
FaZe was a team, specifically one of the 5 that we've been mentioning here, that I thought Phony needed to step up into that role to be the level of player like a Hockey's, like a Howl, like a Sweet that just comes into that next echelon of his performance and his overall leadership.
فقط کافی بود که دارک یه پوزیشن رو هولد کنه تا کاپو ببره. فقط کافی بود دارک یه پوزیشن رو هولد کنه تا کاپو ببره.
I personally had them winning this LAN, and right now they're struggling to get to 50.
Well, I mean, comment on that, Tiff. I mean, Alliance, what's going on? Do you see the same thing? Or you're seeing something different? Just slow to start?
It's definitely tough. People are
بازی
getting
تموم شده دیگه. این 6 مچ دیگه هم داره. فکر نکنم.
Zones that they're predicting are actually not the teams that would typically be playing from that area. I mean, this zone pulled staging, right?
امکانش هست چون پلیرها هنوز جای خودشون نشستن.
NRG, if they believed it to be a staging zone, would have stayed and held that building. And immediately as that happened, everyone started fighting for the spot that LG Chivas was in. They wanted to make sure they cleared out the train tracks and had the high ground that ultimately TSM got. So it's just like a little different on how you're approaching it. Teams are not where they're supposed to be right now.
Lauren, you have a little bit of a joke going on backstage in the green room.
Yeah,
that when this started, she predicted some crazy circumstance. Walk us through that. What was it? 5 teams? Or walk me through what that prediction was, because it's scary close to happening.
Before anything had even happened, I said that it was going to be 5 teams on match point. It was going to end in game 7. The only thing I might be a little bit off on now is the fact that I thought the final fight might have been between DZ and
Kind of stop talking about them, but I'll go down the edge to Dia. DZ is a team that if they are on match point, we've seen what they can do, not just once, but twice. It's not a fluke. This team can win, especially when you least expect it.
Especially now with the experience to back them up. The narrative for DZ this entire tournament has been how crucial Zero's IGLing is to put them in winning positions, because the position means everything. We even saw it today in their zone by Cenote. Having a little bit of high ground, a slightly advantageous spot, pushes Dark Zero beyond the limits of what most teams consider possible.
Tiff, I mean, do you think Litter's prediction is going to come true? I mean, at home as well. Do you think it's going to end in 7?
Everyone back there thinks it's ending in 7. That is the same number that I have heard. So, I mean, game done right there. But you guys are talking about DZ, right? They've only won, I believe, 1 game throughout this entire week, and we just witnessed it not that long ago. But it doesn't matter how many you win. It's the one you win. It's now they've hit the 50 points. They just need to win another.
It's an incredible thing, and I want to shift topic from teams to players. RKN, you've been watching behind the scenes. Who has stood out from an individual perspective to you?
Yeah, I'm extremely impressed with Zainu. It takes a lot, especially at his age, to come out to your first LAN event and put on the performance that he's put on, especially filling the shoes that he's filling for Dark Zero. Coming onto a team that's already previously won 2 LANs, filling a spot like for Sharky after him stepping down, I mean, his performance has been immaculate.
If you don't know the story, Jin Burton, Zero, and Sharky. They were our first LAN winners back when Sweden started. Everyone thought that might have been something special. Stunned the world at championships, which for our second one is coming up in just a little bit. Again, we will tease some information on that a little bit later. But if you have a particular player that you think is doing extremely well today, remember to vote with your Monster Energy MVP hash. Twitter, whether it's Twitch, we will tabulate that, and along with our votes as well, decide a Monster Energy MVP for today's performance. Now, if you know me, you know I love WD Black. They have been supporting the ALGS season this entire run of this year, and also they have given us an opportunity to cover some great things that players use you may or may not be used to. That's why it's time for another WD Black What's in Your Pack. RKN, I'm coming straight to you. You know about this weapon. It's kind of been Prowler dominant, but the car still so deadly. Talk to me about this SMG.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in this meta right now, you really have a choice between 2 guns, and that's going to be the Prowler or the Car 99. The Car 99 has really been on the rise. It used to be the gun of choice back in the day before the R9 was reverted, buffed a little bit back to what it used to be. But now, you know, the R99 being back in the package kind of puts the car back into play. The car is going to be your primary choice for your SMG play. It's going to carry you through a lot of your close range fights if you're not using the Prowler, which is the other strong SMG.
It's another one of the SMGs as well that has incredible hip-fire accuracy right alongside the Prowler, and importantly, its flexibility during the early game, and the fact that it has incredible hip-fire means that it's great to pick up when you don't have a weapon yet, as well as once you start grabbing a few more attachments, it ages really well. It makes deathbox looting really important because you don't have to worry about whether you're grabbing heavy or light, so it comes up clutch in the early game, and in the late game, it just takes one more thing off your mind.
One of the beautiful things is that for a team like TSM, who definitely need to win, they don't want to be worrying about light ammo, but they can have heavy with this one as well. So how? Problem solved. That's been the Car SMG in today's WD Black What's in Your Pack. Of course, looking at it as well, guys, this has been one of the greatest, I think, community events that we've been able to have in Apex's LAN history. Obviously, we faced the pandemic. There was a lot of times we couldn't gather. We gathered online. We've talked to fans, and we've kept building that fandom. But one of the ways we continue to let you know how this fandom is built is through the stories that we tell, whether it's the players in the ALGS or the characters themselves with Kill Code, a new Stories of the Outlands Part 1 dropping July 17th. And if I got my calendar correct, that is tomorrow on Monday, so make sure to stay tuned. I'm a West Coast guy, California, LA. Usually for me, that's about 8-10 a.m. when that drops, but just make sure to tune in at 11 a.m. Eastern time, which is 8 a.m. Pacific time, to catch all of that action. Glitter, always fun to see what they put together. And of course, let's take a look at that quickly to show you a sneak peek. Sorry, I forgot.
را هایپ میکنم برای
Always exciting to see what they can do back at Respawn. Very, very happy to be here with all of you. And you know why I make this moment special? Because I don't know if we'll come back before we have crowned our Split 2 playoffs winners here in the Copper Box Arena in London, in the crowd. Let's get hyped. Let's make a little bit of noise. We might just have ourselves a winner here of Split 2 playoffs. And of course, to call the action, let's set it up to Onset and Gasket.
There's a magic word you said then, Ray, that I think is applicable. Might. We might have a winner. We could have a winner. It is possible that we could be crowning a champion in this next game. But if we know anything, Dan, and we've watched enough Apex Legends and Matchpoint, is that when you just about think that maybe we're about to go over that edge and crown someone a champion, we go again.
Well, all I'll say is all the international teams aside from North America, you need to make your money count now, because we have 5 North American teams on Matchpoint going into match 7. And they
Match
are
half.
all looking hot, fresh, and ready to lift a trophy.
Match half.
North, EMEA, we need to see you step up here.
Match half.
Now,
5 teams. 5
What
teams
the
now on
hell?
match point for Dark Zero and TSM. All of a sudden, it became a little bit tougher. FaZe with a win in the last game, match point. Oxygen from that last game, match point. And Exit, much to the sadness of TSM
انرژی رو دارن
fans,
تشمیل
in
انرژی که
that
دیگه
last game, hit
نمیتونه بیاد
match
چندشه
points. 5 teams are there. If it's not done here, Dan, everyone else is so close.
اگه میذار حتی الان
maybe, possibly, perhaps.
اگه میذارستن
Shoulda,
تیسر
woulda, coulda,
میکنه
of course, Apex South in this lobby as well with the ability to get onto match point and stop one of these North American giants from winning this tournament. I know that Genome will say Dark Zero still are, but they were playing in the North American Pro League. We have Pioneers on 47, Alliance on 43, and Moist Esports on 42. Those are the 3 teams that have looked solid so far and maybe could find a victory here to keep this rolling into match number 8. But of course, we move over to Storm Point, a very different map.
Oh my goodness.
And it means very different early fights.
If you're wondering why I'm getting, shall we say, a little bit carried away just out of nowhere, we could potentially be going towards a barometer zone esports. Dark Horses in this tournament might be very, very happy, but while this contest continues in front of us, Pulverex do get that first knock.
It's tough for Hand as they unfortunately are in a contest yet again. Pulverex 27 points away from match point. And you are completely right, when we do see where this circle is pulling, it's going to be a little bit further south. It's going to go down towards barometer. And we've already seen how successful Oxygen Esports have been throughout this tournament when they have zones pulled towards them. Remember, they came top 3